rear-facing, forward-facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I am your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better, and kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more.
Saturday, August 28th, add it to your calendar. The Sports Betting Channel presents To Be Determined. Our new show starts at 8 o'clock out here in San Diego, 11 o'clock in New York, and then we're done just in time for the first game kickoffs for college football. You're going to get 4 totally different slices of sports. Blackhawk West joins us for Saturdays in Canada and some plays for the CFL game. What do you do when the easy sports data is trending in opposite directions? Well, Mo's going to help us decide what to do on Something's Gotta Give. There's also Paulo's plays. Now, if you're not betting soccer, you really should be. And this guy is very, very good. Finally, there's Wake and Bake, where sports betting meets marijuana. Hey, the games start early here in Southern California. Now, 9 o'clock's a lot easier when marijuana is legal. It's like having more shows in one. Check it out Saturday, August 28th on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network, and on the Sports Betting Channel.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stock, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value and market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers Securities Advisors LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC. Annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network LLC.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit them online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi, I'd like to report a bear hug.
Uh-huh, okay.
Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some, dry brush and leaves around, so, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Hey, guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
What are you talking about?
No, it's not him. There is only one more. There is only one More! That's it! One more! No! They saw your team put up zero effort. Wake up!
Remember in the old days they used to have oxygen for them. Where's the oxygen?
Play like absolute just garbage.
This is the Sports Loudmouths.
Yay!
Man, can you keep it down? I'm trying to introduce here. With Errol Marks, Speedy Petey, and Tyler Harrison.
You're not even a has-been.
You're a never was.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is a new show of the Sports Loudmouths. I'm your host, Errol Marks. My co-hosts, Speedy Dan Petey and Mr. Tyler, a.k.a. Mothball Harrison, in the studio as always. Remember, you can call us, Speedy, at 631-672-3108. You can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Download our app by going to iOS, WWSRN, or Android Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We have 720,000 downloads on Apple Podcast. I believe by the end of this year, we will have over 1 million downloads on Apple Podcast. We started our Apple Podcast I think it was in the beginning of 2020, and now it's 2021. So it's been almost a year and a few months, and we have almost 1 million downloads. So shout out to all the fans that listen to our shows. Check out our shows throughout the social media podcast market. We really appreciate all you guys. What is going on, boys? Obviously a great show yesterday. I thought it was very educational yesterday. I think today will be a lot more amusing and fun for all the fans to listen to the show. I'm sure there's going to be some outlandish, crazy takes. At 10:30, we'll be talking to former Ravens and Falcons All-Pro fullback Ovie Mughelli, right? Mughelli. Okay, so Mughelli.
Mughelli.
Mughelli, not move.
Not move.
Moo, like cow. Yeah. Moo, like Mughelli. You know, got it? We got that?
What?
Of course. I'm lost with you sometimes. But anyways, shout out to all the fans that listen to us on all the social medias, from Spotify to all the podcasts to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, all the people that are following us on all our social medias. We really appreciate it. We have a great show lined up for you. As you guys know, at 10:30, we'll be talking to Mughelli, ex-All-Pro player, Pro Bowl player. He's going to join us. He has a couple of foundations and his big foundation that he wants us to talk about, and obviously talk about his life after football. So that'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting interview because he actually had a pretty decent career. He played with the Ravens and the Falcons. I think he did win a Super Bowl too. So we will get into that a little bit later in the show. We are going to get into, obviously, week 2 in football. We're going to go through the games. That'll probably be the first thing that we're going to talk about. We will make our picks tonight, which supposedly we didn't make last week. But we will do it this week, and hopefully Speedy doesn't do his long, treacherous, stupid book of crap that he
We have a guest. That'll motivate me to go quicker.
Well, we'll see about that.
No, you never go quick. You have to go at a steady pace that both of you enjoy.
Well, that's...
Thank you for that info.
Well, we'll do our week 2 picks. We'll go through all the games, our thoughts to all the teams in week 1. And obviously there's a game going on, the Giants in Washington. It's tied 7-7, second quarter. So we'll get into this game probably early in the show. We will get into...
Mr. Accuracy shows up again.
We will get into some baseball conversation, which we barely got into yesterday. A lot to talk about with the Yankees and the Mets. The offseason, do the Mets fire their manager? Do they continue moving on with the manager? Jacob deGrom, is he going to have surgery in the offseason? There were some stories coming out that I read today that he might have some arthroscopic surgery with his shoulder and in the offseason. So we'll get into that a little bit later. We will also get into some hockey. Preseason starts at the end of this week. The Islanders and the Rangers. That means hockey season's right around the corner. Basketball season starts, I think, in about 3 weeks as well. So a lot to talk about, a lot of sports to get into. And we have a guest. Like I said, we'll be talking to former All-Pro, 2-time All-Pro player, Ovie Mughelli. So it's going to be an interesting interview. We're going to have some fun with him. Tyler got a new haircut. He definitely looks even more bolder than he usually does.
First of all, you're blonde because I had this haircut yesterday too. So
that's not saying much, by the way.
What?
I wasn't paying attention. That just tells you that I wasn't paying attention to your head and your hair.
Well, listen, I barely pay attention.
You know, one of your ears is bigger than the other. You know that, right? One of them sticks out. You know.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just letting you know.
Oh, thank
now
you.
that I see,
your
half
eyes
face,
are really close together. Right?
They are. So it's attached to my nose. So
yeah,
like normal faces.
No, I understand.
Instead of eyes on the back of your
hold
head,
on.
now they're eyes on your nose.
But why is your your nose is very wide but very short?
My nose is very wide but very short.
It's very wide.
No, it's not. It's
it's
more longer
incredibly
than wider.
That's a pretty.
Yeah, I was going to say it doesn't look very short.
No, it
doesn't look short.
It's not. It's not as big as you think it is.
That's you hear that a lot though, don't you?
No, I don't. I just hear it from you. But
I was going to say, I think you're the only one who said that.
I'm a little
How would
lost
you
with
know?
that because because Speedy's been around me for 4 years. I think he knows what people say about me because he's around.
I've never heard anybody analyze his nose.
No, but you
We're not
analyze
analyzing just his nose.
Oh well, what the hell are you analyzing then? I don't want to know what you're going to analyze after that. It's starting to get me scared. Okay, you start to get me scared by just the thought
Your
that
crutches
you're looking
are showing.
at. What? I'm sorry.
Your crutches are showing.
So what?
I'm just saying your crutches.
I want
are showing.
people to see what I'm dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are my friends for the next 3 weeks. So I'll be hobbling and moving with these two little fellows over here. So I want you guys to see the craziness that I'm dealing with for the next couple of months. Oh, well, really, the next couple of weeks. So there you go. No, couple of weeks. I should be off crutches in 2 weeks. So I'll be able to walk on both legs, which I haven't put any weight. I think I can only put 20% of my body weight on my left leg because of my hip surgery. So that it sucks. I'm definitely stuck doing practically nothing. But by the way, Snug is saying some stupid things. Earl's nose is like a long bed version of a truck. Thank you. I disagree with you, but thank you, Snug. Anyways.
He also says if you rub Tyler's head after a haircut, it's good luck.
Good. Well, congratulations to Snug on that. I'm not rubbing anybody's head. Anyways, especially a man's head. I got a girlfriend. If I want to rub somebody's head, I'll rub hers. Okay. Anyways,
Snug will rub a cat's head.
Hey.
Well, I'm not rubbing your head. I don't want to touch your head.
This is a child's show.
It's
pervert.
This is not a child's show.
What?
We're at 9:00 at night. This is not a children's show.
The Family Network.
It is a family network. But
All right,
this is
so
not a
then watch your
children's show.
mouth. You shouldn't be rubbing people's heads.
What are you talking
Pervert?
about? Well, hold on 1 second. I don't know what head you're talking about, but
What?
whatever you, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm kind of lost on what you're saying.
Didn't you just?
I
Never
said
mind.
I am not rubbing your head. If I'm going to rub somebody's head, I'll rub my girlfriend's head. She's my girlfriend. Why
Right.
would I rub another
That's
man's
perverted.
head? How is that perverted?
Oh,
what are you talking
never
about?
mind.
What are you talking
Never
about?
mind,
Are
let's
you
move on.
lost? There's something wrong with you, man. I don't know. Maybe you haven't rubbed yourself out a little bit too much, or maybe you are. Maybe you're rubbing yourself too much.
I think so.
I think so too. I think you need to calm those. Your hands and your wrists need to be, calm. Maybe put some, handcuffs to a chair or something like that.
But then I won't get out.
Well, that'll probably be better. I don't know what the hell you're doing with your hands, man. I don't know. I'm kind of lost with you. I have no idea what you're talking about. But you just brought up your hands and then
You
rubbing.
brought up my hands.
I didn't say I was rubbing your head. I said that if I'm going to rub somebody, I'm not rubbing some man's. I'm rubbing my girlfriend's head.
Yeah, right. And I just said don't be.
And you
perverted.
said I'm perverted, but you're more perverted because you were talking about rubbing one out. Yes, you did.
I didn't. I
Yes,
thought that's what you meant.
Speedy, did he not say that?
I'm pretty sure you did.
But no,
Yes.
what I'm trying to insinuate here is this is a child show, and we should move on.
So if it's a child show, why are you talking about rubbing one out?
I tried to stop you from talking about rubbing one out.
I mean, seriously, maybe somebody needs to donkey punch you.
What? What the hell does that mean?
You don't know what a donkey punch is?
No.
Oh my God.
Like says you can rub it too much, increases blood flow, and decreases the chance of prostate cancer.
No.
Thank you,
I don't
Stuck.
think
I love
think
the
I'm
data
getting
to back that
prostate.
up, Stuck.
I don't think I have to
So
worry
why don't
about
we
prostate
why don't
cancer.
we get into this week in football? By the way, I will talk about. Let's get into the Giants first because This is week number 1. This is the first game of week number 2. And Thursday Night Football, I thought this was going to be a very fun game to watch. I really did, because I think there's a lot of deficiencies with the Giants, and I think there's some deficiencies with, obviously, the Washington football team. The Giants obviously have their quarterback, and a lot of Giant fans are not very excited going into the fourth season of this fourth season, right? Or third season. Third season with Daniel Jones. And this is the year that they expect Daniel Jones to take steps forward. In game number 1, it really didn't show that. I think tonight he's played a lot better. But also, when you look at the Giants with Kenny Golladay, the addition of Kenny Golladay, a healthy Saquon Barkley, bringing back Evan Ingram, you brought Kyle Rudolph to the team. You drafted a top-end wide receiver in the first round, which, by the way, Jeff from Tampa absolutely adored and loved. You would think that the New York Giants were going to have a good offensive season. Looking at their schedule, and the schedule in their division works very, very well for the New York Giants. What are you shaking your head for?
Go ahead.
What are you shaking your head for?
I'll go into it. Go ahead.
Going into the season, I expected the Giants to win 10 games and be a borderline wild card team in the NFC East. Being that the Washington football team probably had the best all-around talent, adding obviously Fitzpatrick. Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's a journeyman. But if we've seen Ryan Fitzpatrick play at all the different teams he's played for in his first year, he's played strategically well in every single year that he played the first year with those teams. Even with the Jets, we saw him with Tennessee. He played well. Buffalo, he got that extent. Tampa, he played very well his first year on respectable teams. And then he usually dies out. He gets an extended season. He gets an extension on his contract after the first year, and he completely disappears. And that's Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick got knocked out in the first quarter of game number 1. Now he has a hip flex problem. He could be out possibly between 5 and 8 weeks. That's what we're hearing, but we don't even know the magnitude of. I don't think his career is over. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick,
with his age, quarterback.
What is he? 33 years old?
No, he's older
almost
than that.
40.
But still,
he's not 40 years.
He's almost 40.
He's almost 40. I think he's 38. But he's never been injured his whole career. I think he'll end up getting another chance somewhere. He's always a spark, like Errol said. He's always a spark, at least initially.
I'm quarterback at his age with a hip injury.
He's 38 years old. He's 38 years old. And again, we don't know how the severity of it. We don't know severity. He's 38. But we don't know the severity of it. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is in very good shape. And going into the season, he dropped down 10 pounds. He looked pretty good in the preseason. For a little bit of seeing what we saw early in preseason, I thought he was going to have a pretty good year with the weapons that they have over there. Remember, they brought Samuel to the team. He's not going to be back until week 3, week 4 from Carolina. I thought that the Washington football team was going to be a fun team to watch this year, being that they have a very good defense, front seven, their secondary is very strong. I was expecting this team to really start off strong this year. In the first game in week number 1, they didn't look good. Their defense did not look good. Now, tonight in the first quarter, I'm sorry, even though they've given up 7 points, they haven't looked good against a Giants offense that, let's be honest, is not amongst the league's best, okay? Saquon Barkley is starting to get his feet wet and figure out things. He hasn't played for almost a year and a half. Kenny Golladay can't stay on the field. He's finally, week 1, he needed to get his feet under him as well because he didn't have a preseason. He didn't have OTAs as well because he was coming off an injury. And it was nothing that really showed me in the offensive line except Thomas, their rookie, their second-year player that they drafted in last year's draft. There was nothing that showed me that this offensive line was going to be even better than it was last year. They lost Zietler. This is not a strong offensive line. So they're putting Daniel Jones again in his 3rd year in harm's way. Now, I still think because of the division. Now, the Cowboys are by far the best offensive team in that division. And the best defensive team in that division is the Washington football team. I think the best all-around team in that division is the Giants. with the defense and with some of the offensive weapons that I thought the additions of Kyle Rudolph, the kid that they drafted, what's his name again? Tony, that everybody, they call him what? The human joystick.
Jeff calls him the human joystick, even though people were calling Tariq Cohen that too. So
Whatever.
He technically got it first.
I thought the Giants were the best overall team in the division. I didn't think much of the Philadelphia Eagles, and besides the Jets, I am an Eagles follower because I grew up a Donovan McNabb fan. So watching Jalen Hurts, he looked very good in week number 1. I want to see him do it back-to-back weeks against a better defense. He played a garbage team in the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah. I want to see him do it against a really good defense. And if he does that, maybe he is for real. But all in all, I thought the Giants going into the season, they were going to be an all-around explosive team. What we saw with their defense, they added some secondary help. I think they're probably one of the more underrated secondaries in all of football. They have a huge amount of talent, either young and veterans that they've added. They added the kid Jackson to the team in the offseason. I think all in all, I thought the Giants were going to be explosive, even offensively with Saquon Barkley, a healthy Saquon Barkley. I'm worried about the Giants because in week number 1, I know they needed to get their feet wet, and it wasn't an easy game. Week number 2, this is a game that is a winnable game. The Washington football team and their defense has not looked at the top of their game, which we expected them to be. I don't know, boys. I don't know.
I think the biggest thing with the Giants from last week that you have to take away is, one, the run defense was a little concerning in comparison to last year. And Washington is definitely one of those teams with Antonio Gibson and Curtis Samuel's not healthy right now, but even some of the other receivers that can run, that they have to turn around a little bit, because the Giants' run defense last year was above average. Their pass defense was better, but it was still above average. And also, third down defense has to be a lot better too. Against the Broncos last week, they were letting guys get a lot of space on third down, a lot of slant routes, skinny posts. And that's something that, again, if you are a good defense, you have to get off the field. And the Giants did that last year, top 10 pretty much overall throughout the season, except for the end of the season. And if they don't get off the field on third down, that's going to be a problem too. And this offense, like you were saying, McLaurin and Gibson, but not much else to really look at, especially now with Heineke at quarterback.
How about you, Tyler? You were going to say something. What are your thoughts to my whole monologue with the Giants and obviously the Washington football team? I just spoke pretty highly of it.
Oh. Yeah. Well, mazel tov to you. I'm sure it was fantastic. So here's the thing, right? I don't really.
By the way, happy Yom Kippur to all.
Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur. It's Yom Kippur. But whatever. You can call it Yom Kippur, whatever.
Oh, wow. I didn't even mean to do that. Mazel tov.
Happy Jewish New Year to all the Jews out there. I just wanted to say that to everybody. But go ahead.
Shalom. So what I've been trying to say now is week 1, I think everyone's blown out of proportion. The Denver Broncos are a solid football team. They're just going to be a good football team. That defense is going to be top 10, probably closer to 5 than 10. Vic Fangio's a defensive genius. Saquon got 10 carries, and he had to get the rust off, as he said earlier today. And Kenny Galladay was hurt all week. Evan Ingram hasn't played yet. I'm not really worried about it. And even if Ingram comes back, if he gives you anything, just kind of take that as a
go ahead,
benefit.
spit it out. Yeah.
No, thank you, Shalom. So anyway, that's just where we're
Stop worrying about the game.
I'm trying to worry about both. I'm worried about Saquon's fantasy
we're doing
value.
A live. Who
I'm
cares
talking
about Saquon's fantasy value?
I care.
You'll find out at the end of the game what his fantasy value is. Okay.
What's your fantasy value?
A lot. Okay.
Oh, right.
Hundreds of points.
Well, how do I trade for you?
Well, I'm not on the list. I'm a wild card.
No. Good. So I think everyone's.
By the way, there's Daniel Jones, your sucker. Okay. Just ran another touchdown.
Wait, he did what?
He ran a long touchdown. It actually didn't trip on his own feet.
Oh, he ran?
No, there's a flag.
It's coming back.
Never mind,
it's
there's
coming
a flag.
back. But here's
It's on
the thing.
Washington.
Here's the thing. It's not on Washington.
It's on Washington. Go ahead.
Probably not on
It's
Washington.
on Washington.
How do you know?
I'm telling you. Go ahead.
Anyway, let me know how the penalty goes. So what I'm trying to say is everyone's overreacting. The Denver Broncos are going to be a solid football team. That's number 1. Number 2, Daniel Jones needs to go. I know that Errol Marks loves Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones needs to go.
He's fantastic. And Daniel Jones this, and he's great. He's accurate. Blah, blah, blah. Him and Brady, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I understand. I don't really care.
Oh, so you're going to blame this penalty on Daniel Jones?
No.
They're going to blame that on Daniel Jones. He runs his ass off. He plays hard and probably the hardest player on that whole team. And you're saying he needs to go.
He's the hardest player on the team.
He plays hard every single game. The guy goes out there and he plays hard every single game. Is it his fault that his offensive line and some of his players like Board, who I've never even heard of in my life, is holding on to players when he's running the ball? That's his fault. That by the way, he took that team all the way down. By the way, that was a great throw. Why didn't Kenny Golladay, your great number 2, should have caught that ball? Okay,
well,
that was right in his hands.
Yeah,
it was right in his hands.
The corner didn't knock it out of his hands.
It's called being a great wide receiver. That's
a great defense.
That's a great defensive play.
I'm sorry.
That's a great defensive
If
play.
you're giving him $76 million, he catches the ball. Okay? I'm sorry.
They got ripped out of his hands.
I'm sorry. It got ripped out of his hands. Catch the ball. Look.
If that was a Jet, he'd be like, that's a great defense. That's the greatest defensive play I've ever seen.
Why do you always bring up the Jets?
Because that's what you did before.
Because you're wrong. Every time we talk about the Jets, I pick on the Jets. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't bring up the Jets when I'm bringing up the Giants.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm talking about Daniel Jones,
true
who you're trying to
swear
throw
to God,
away.
Kenny Golladay got brought up before the show. All I said was he's a number 1 wide receiver.
No, he's not.
He goes, he's not the best. He's the worst number 1 in the league. I said, oh, yeah?
Yep.
That's not true. Out of all the teams, do you know who we brought up first? Cody Davis. Cody Davis, who is a New York Jet.
I said
he always brings up the Jets.
Hold on one
second.
second.
When everyone else brings up the Jets, you're
hold
the
on
problem.
1 second.
It's your fault.
Hold on.
Get out. Leave.
Are you done talking? Because you
just told me to talk before.
No, yeah, you talk and you sound like an idiot. I brought up Corey Davis because I think Corey Davis is a number 2, and he's better than Kenny Golladay. So what are you talking about? Why are you bringing up the Jets? This has nothing to do with the Jets. We're talking about the Giants. We're talking about the Washington football team, and you keep thinking that Saquon Barkley is Barry Sanders-esque, which you're out of your damn mind. And then you keep talking about Daniel Jones being gone. Daniel Jones isn't the problem. Daniel Jones is not the problem.
No.
I'll tell you what the problem is. They do not know what they do.
More fumbles and touchdowns
they
isn't a
do
problem
not.
at all.
No, first of all. So you're going to blame Daniel Jones that the offensive line can't protect him behind the line of scrimmage?
That's fine and dandy.
That's his fault?
No, the fumbles are his fault. The fumbles are his fault.
It's called when you're running for dear life every single other play because the offensive line can't protect you. Yeah, I'm going to be worried about holding on to the ball.
Did you not just see a designed run for Daniel Jones?
Are you going to speak?
No? Yes or no?
What makes you think that Daniel Jones doesn't fit?
Or no?
No, I don't.
You didn't just see a designed run.
That wasn't a design run. That wasn't a design run.
That wasn't an RPO just now.
No, that wasn't a design run.
He didn't fake the handoff and then take off immediately?
No, he saw an opening and he ran.
Errol, it was a designed run
by
wasn't. Daniel Jones.
No, it
outside.
wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a design run.
Well, then I'm not talking about this anymore with you. But anyway, Daniel Jones needs to go. We should have had Herbert. But anyway, nonetheless, this is an absolute make or break year for Daniel Jones. If the Giants do not win 7 to 8 games, he's gone. Because Dave Gettleman is fired as well.
Well, yeah.
So
that's inevitable.
If Dave Gettleman lasts after this year, then Giant fans should just
Dave
burn
Gettleman
down
will
the
keep
field.
his job at the end of the season unless a catastrophic win to loss ratio. If the Giants win 5 games, he's gone. If the Giants win 8 or 9 games, he keeps his job. They're not going to fire Dave Gettleman with a year of 8 or 9 wins. They're not. They're not going to fire him. He'll keep his job. He will keep his job.
He should be fired if they go 16-0, but that's not neither here nor there.
16? What are you nuts? This
I don't like him either, but that's pretty good. If they end up going, well, I'm not gonna go 16-0, but
that's what I'm saying. They are 16-1, whatever the record is. Now.
Yeah, but regardless, I mean that's a pretty big step if they do that. It's not gonna happen, but that would be a step. You can't fire anybody on that.
He's had such a bad year.
Who?
Or such a bad career in New York. He should go.
Who has?
Dave Gettleman.
Dave Gettleman hasn't a bad career with the New York Giants.
You want to bring up his draft?
Yeah, go look at his draft. Go look at his draft.
Go look at his drafts.
Go ahead, do it. We talked about it. Me and Speedy have talked about it plenty of times. He's had good drafts, especially in the later rounds, bringing in linebackers. We've seen what he's done. He's done a pretty good job in the draft. Problem with Dave Gettleman is some of the veteran players he decides to let go, like Zietler. That made absolutely no sense. He's brought in Kenny Golladay, overpaying Kenny Golladay $76 million when he's not worth $76 million.
So was he part of the
Corey
17
Davis?
draft?
And that's why I brought up Corey Davis.
18 would be
Corey
the first
Davis,
draft.
he got a $38 million contract from the Jets. And
looky here.
What?
We start with the most highly debated draft of the Giants' recent history. 2018, Saquon. Who would you say they should have taken? And don't change your answer now.
Sam Darnold.
Okay. So in your mind, he did the wrong pick.
Yeah.
His first pick as a Giant, he's already wrong. Right?
Okay, but that draft all around, I mean, in the later rounds, he did pretty well.
Okay. Now, I agree that he should have taken Saquon. Okay. So in the second round, right, there's Will Hernandez. Solid.
I don't like Will Hernandez.
He's a good run blocker. He just has to improve as a pass blocker.
I don't like him. I never liked him.
Well, and then you get Lorenzo Carter in the third round. And then, Kyle Lauletta in the fourth round. So we'll just say we'll go from there that this is a bad draft, right? Because they're still looking for Eli's successor. So he got
Do
one
you know
good
that pick.
the
the Jets have been looking for Joe Namath's successor for 50 years? 50 years. So what makes you think that it's just going to, we're just going to go there? And it's not easy.
It's not about that.
Oh, yeah. So
it's not about having a quarterback.
Who should have he?
He literally, his first quote when he took the job, build the offensive line. It's been 5 freaking years.
How?
He hasn't built it yet.
Can I say something? Can I say something? I sneak something in because you're not letting me speak? Okay.
All you do is speak.
Really, I don't. I do a monologue and then you yap your big mouth and you're out of your mind on half the things that you said. Okay? Who would they have drafted if they didn't draft Daniel Jones?
So I'm glad you brought this up. I'm looking at a ton of names.
Let's go. Let's see.
So
let's go.
Let's just say the first first 5 stays as it is, right? And you don't get to pick Devin White. Josh Allen's at 7. Hawkinson's at 8. Ed Oliver's at 9. Devin Bush Jr. is at 10. Rashawn Gary's at 12.
They drafted at 2.
Gary,
Saquon Barkley.
Well,
they drafted Saquon Barkley.
Hold on. We're doing the Daniel Jones. We already did the Barkley draft, buddy. That's fine.
All right. So we're talking about Saquon Barkley. He was
what does
done.
that have to do with Saquon?
Saquon was the Josh Allen draft, wasn't it?
No, Josh Allen, the linebacker.
Saquon was
the
2018.
Giants. Who did your Giant? No, Saquon was drafted in Josh Allen's draft.
The quarterback. The pass rusher in Jacksonville is in the Daniel Jones.
We're talking about the quarterback position.
He wasn't there. Saquon was the pick. I agree with taking Saquon.
All right. So
let's just say,
what quarterback should they have drafted?
Justin Herbert.
They didn't have a chance to get Justin Herbert.
Yes, they did.
Oh, when?
So first of all, if you remember, when this draft happened, Justin Herbert was their guy. If Justin Herbert declares out of this draft, the Giants were trading up to get this dude.
Justin Herbert wasn't in the draft.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So they drafted Daniel Jones.
He went back to Oregon, and it screwed up the Giants' plans.
So that's
Gettleman's
fault?
Kind of.
Get out of here.
You're insane.
Gettleman didn't
If he
tell
wanted
Justin
nuts.
Herbert.
If he wanted Herbert,
Don't speak to me, please. Because you agree with me numerous times. So just let me talk
No, he's
about
not
this.
agreeing with you.
No. Calm down. So if they don't draft Daniel Jones here, you get another year of Eli.
They needed a quarterback.
Hold on.
Gettleman wants you to draft a quarterback.
Right. Great. Eli's still there. So you play another year with Eli. What do you think their record would have been? 0-16?
You need a quarterback to sit the bench and learn the offense.
Hold on.
You're
Justin
talking
Herbert.
stupid.
Moron. Herbert just won Rookie of the Year.
You're talking stupid.
Moron. Herbert just won Rookie of the Year. Did he or did he not?
What are you talking about?
Justin Herbert. His
They
rookie
drafted
year.
Daniel Jones, you idiot. So why are they going to draft another quarterback?
I'm begging you. Follow me. Follow me. For 5
I'm not
seconds.
following you. You sound like
I
an
understand.
idiot.
Stop trying to use that brain.
You
and use
sound
common
like an
sense.
idiot. Speak
Hold on.
up and make your point. Your
I'm
point is
trying.
not. It's
Dave
not.
Gettleman took the wrong guy.
So stupid.
He took the wrong guy.
Oh, okay.
Herbert was their dude. He went back to Oregon.
Yeah.
Instead of being patient, using Eli another year, sucking, or taking a defensive-minded pass rusher, taking a lineman, whoever would have been there.
After this, I want you to shut up so I can speak because you've been yapping your mouth and you're out of your mind.
So then the Giants would have had another bad year. And everyone would have been up in arms, and we need a quarterback, we need a quarterback. So then you would have got Justin Herbert. So then you get Herbert instead of Daniel Jones, who won Rookie of the Year. Would he have won Rookie of the Year with the Giants? Probably not, because the offensive line is still atrocious. So what you would have done is you still would have probably signed Kenny Galladay because that money's that money. You still would have had Saquon. You still would have had the chance to draft Toomey. The offense would have been identical. Would have looked exactly the same, except you would have had a bona fide franchise quarterback instead of now when this kid sucks again this year and the Giants go anywhere between 5-13 to 5-12, whatever the hell the math is, to 7-11, whatever the math is. Then you're going to have to rebuild it all over again. And I can assure you, whoever the next Giant franchise guy is, won't be Herbert good.
All right, now you're going to shut up because I've heard enough from you with this stupidity. They needed to draft a quarterback the year of Kyler Murray's draft. They decided to go with Saquon Barkley when they could have had Sam Darnold. They could have
Kyler
had
Murray
Josh.
wasn't in that draft.
I'm going in. Again, I'm going to Saquon Barkley. They had a chance to draft Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. They could have went for any other quarterback at that position. They decided to draft Saquon Barkley. Score number one, wrong. Negative, wrong. Okay. Number two, the next year, he was going after a quarterback. They were drafting at what? 8? 6. Whatever they were drafting. They weren't drafting in the top 5. Okay, so the best quarterback available was either the Ohio State quarterback, which right now is the backup quarterback for Pittsburgh, or obviously Daniel Jones. Okay, he had to draft one or the other. Now, you keep bringing up Josh Allen. That's fine. Josh Allen last year, even though he didn't have much of a year, he had 1 sack, and he was hurt all year. This year, hopefully, he plays a full year and stays healthy. He did gain 30 pounds, so we'll see how he plays at his weight. Fine, if you think that. But Gettleman needed to build his team around a quarterback. He needed that quarterback that was going to take over for Eli Manning. Eli Manning was going to play possibly one more year, and they needed somebody to come in his place. They did not believe that the year after that the quarterback class was going to be that much better than this quarterback class. Justin Herbert was available in next year's quarterback class. So was Tua. So was the other quarterbacks that they had. And by the way, honestly, besides really Justin Herbert, who was good in that quarterback class? It was good.
Burrow was good until he got hurt.
I mean, Joe Burrow. I forgot about Joe. He was the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
But Joe Burrow, and they had no chance at Joe Burrow.
Right.
Because he was the number 1 pick. Right. So it was just Justin Herbert. Besides Justin Herbert, was there any quarterback that really stuck out to you? No. And what makes you think that if the Giants were sitting there, where did they draft that year? 3rd? 4th? What makes you think that if everybody knew that Justin Herbert is the player that the Giants want? Because everybody knew that the Giants wanted Smith, the wide receiver that went to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody knew that the Giants wanted him. And what did they do? Obviously, the Cowboys screwed them. So they couldn't get him, okay? So what makes you think that because Justin Herbert fell to 7 or 8, wherever he went to the Chargers, that he was going to not sit there at 4 or 3 and somebody move up and try to draft him at 3, knowing that the Giants wanted him? What makes you think that?
Tyler, before you rebuttal, I'll just read some of the comments. John Suggs says he will
I don't know why you're making faces, because you of all people should know that the draft doesn't always fall the way you think it's going to fall.
John Suggs says he will not lose his job if they only go 5 wins. Injuries will keep them in. Andrew Thomas hasn't done anything. Number 4 overall pick. Evan Engram. No, John. Evan Engram was Jerry Reese, not Dave Gettleman. Dexter Lawrence was maybe the best pick they've had in the last few years. Jeff says this is unwatchable. And John says Giants going to get Kirk Cousins next year. Watch. They currently have 6 signed quarterbacks on the roster. They unloading and drafting a top QB next year.
I don't think they're drafting a quarterback next year. Quarterback class isn't good next year.
I know the Giants will have a quarterback next year, and he's currently already in the league.
Yeah, and you think it's Russell Wilson.
It will absolutely be Russell Wilson.
I'll put money on it. That doesn't.
But here's the thing, right? So let's just say Dexter Lawrence was a great pick. So they trade up for DeAndre Baker.
Wishful thinking, by the way.
Right. So DeAndre Baker, they traded up to get. They could have had, if you didn't want to pay your boy Kenny Galladay, because he's not a true number 1, right? So they could have drafted DK Metcalf, who's a bona fide number 1.
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown's in the same draft. So they could have done that. But no, they traded up for DeAndre Baker. And didn't you say that Gettleman shouldn't have lost his job? Meanwhile, you bashed all of his draft picks so far?
I have not bashed his draft.
You said Saquon, wrong pick.
Yeah, but
0-1.
I thought his first-round draft picks have been questionable, besides Dexter. But besides that, yeah, his first round. But his later rounds, his drafts have been pretty damn good.
I think
I think his drafts have been pretty damn
the
good.
only one I'm fine with.
I'm sorry?
The Dexter Lawrence one's the only one I'm fine with.
I don't know why you're not fine with the players that they've added. Because first of all, Daniel Jones, until they put the right players and the right team around him, he is proven to fail. Okay, they have not built an offensive line around him. Zietler, who was their best offensive lineman last year, they decided to part ways with. Okay, where did he go? Where did he sign?
Baltimore.
He went with Ravens. Okay, the Giants have not put a team in front of him where he could be successful, just like the Jets. And Jeff took shots at me, and I thought that the Jets' offensive line was going to be light years better in the beginning of the season. I really did. So far in game number 1, I know it's just game number 1. The Jets' offensive line was a catastrophe. It was terrible. Zach Wilson got killed in game number 1. They got to get better. Okay, and they lost Mekhi Beckham for 4 to 8 weeks now that he's having surgery on his knee. So honestly, it's not Daniel Jones's fault that they haven't put an offensive line in front of him that is respectable enough to let him sit in the pocket and make the plays. And that's the facts. You want to blame that on Gettleman? Fine, it's Gettleman's fault. It's not Daniel Jones's fault.
That's fine. But the fact of the matter is that when Dave Gettleman took the job, he said, I have to address the offensive line. Big boys are what wins. How do you not do that? Not only not do it, put no effort into doing it at all. Your first offensive lineman in the first round was Andrew Thomas. Almost
not a bad pick.
4 years into your freaking tenure?
No, not 4 years. 2 years. I think it was 3 years.
3 years.
It was his third year. It was 2 years into his tenure. It was his third year when he drafted Thomas.
So that's when you address it.
First of all,
when you buy a house and you say, "Oh, the foundation's screwed up. I'm going to live here for 3 years before I address it." That's retarded.
First of all, the Giants, when he took over the team, had a lot of weaknesses. There were a lot of what do they say?
Oh yeah,
holes. On the team.
Well, he created a lot of those holes.
Really?
You let Landon Collins walk. You let Odell Beckham Jr. get traded for peanuts.
You're going to pay Landon Collins $86 million?
Landon Collins publicly came out and said, "I'm fine with not signing a long-term deal. If they franchise me, I'll earn it." You could have franchised him twice.
There was no way he was going to be franchised twice, and he was going to accept that. There was no way.
He came out.
And what has he done?
I'll believe his words.
What has he done for the Washington football team since he's taken over?
He had a really good year last.
He can't stay healthy.
That's fine, but he's a leader in the locker room.
So
he was a leader in the locker room.
Leadership is worth $86 million.
He got overpaid. I understand that.
No, nobody's overpaid.
Understand.
Every single athlete deserves the money that they get. It's not overpaid. What the problem is what I'm trying to get at, because you keep slamming your hands on the ground
because you're
like
not
a little
sense.
child. Yes, it is. I am making
sense. You just said you're going to pay him $86 million. I say he's overpaid, but he's not overpaid.
No, he's not over. No player is paid in the NFL. Nobody, because they deserve every penny that they get.
I agree.
They're putting their bodies on the line.
Yes.
They deserve every penny that they get. Yes. But when we talk about the position and at the position that he plays, was he a top 5 linebacker? Really? Maybe statistically when it comes to hits, but all around, is he a safety in the league? He's not. He's not. So why is he getting paid top end safety money when he's not worth $86 million? That's what I'm saying. But if he gets it, he deserves every penny of it. So I'm not saying it. I would have offered him $50 million, $55 million. I'm not giving him 86. They overpaid him in our eyes.
John says Sam Howell out of UNC and Errol's boy Spencer Rattler out of Oklahoma are 2 options at quarterback. So franchise a hurt player, LOL. Jeff says interesting argument Errol just made about what players earn.
Yeah, because he's right. Because when I talk to Jeff, I take shots, and Jeff actually, when we talk, Jeff tells me whatever the players get paid, they deserve. Whatever they get offered, whatever they negotiate their deals, they deserve it. They put their bodies on the line. They deserve every penny. And thinking about it, yeah, but again, going back to the positions and what they play. When you look at Daniel Jones is going on to his 4th year after this year, right? Mm-hmm. It's his 4th year. So after his 4th year, it's his 5th year. They're not going to wait until they'll probably give Daniel Jones. He'll actually, if he has a decent season, they'll probably bring a veteran quarterback in, or they'll draft another quarterback, not a first-round quarterback, but a 2nd or 3rd round quarterback that falls to them, and they're going to make Daniel Jones earn his spot. But after that, Daniel Jones will lose his position, especially if somebody wins that job, a young guy wins that job, or a veteran wins that job next year, if he doesn't have the season that all the Giant fans want him to have. I don't know what you want from a rookie quarterback. Well,
have more touchdowns.
A third-year quarterback. First of all, a third-year quarterback that has no offensive line help, none whatsoever, none. Okay, besides Thomas and
No one seemed to
weapons
care
that
when it
you're
happened to
paying.
Eli.
You're paying Kenny Galladay $76, almost $80 million a year, which he's what, the third or fourth highest paid wide receiver in the league. Is he worth that money, Speedy?
He earned
yes
every
or
penny.
no? No, he earned. Yes, if he got it, you should be happy for him. I'm happy that he got the money. Is he worth it? That's the question. That's the statement here. Is he worth $76 million? The answer is no. He got it. He deserves every penny of it. But he's not worth it. Is he a number one? No. He's not. And anybody that thinks he is blind. And that's a fact. Anyways, go ahead, Speedy.
I was going to say he's a good 2, but
he's a great 2.
For him to get paid as a number 1 for somebody who's been injury prone his whole career, inconsistent. He has great games and then he has disappearing games, which is a lot of these big bodied receivers in the NFL today. For the Giants team that needs a lot of things at other positions too, you can't just try to invest all the money into one player. You have to try to spread the wealth. And while Adoree Jackson, going back to that contract, was I think a good contract for him, they didn't even need that either. They need to invest in other areas too. Now, in terms of Gettleman as a whole, it's a kind of a mixed bag with his drafts. I'm with Tyler on the 2019 draft. I would have rather waited, but at the same time, in 2018, they could have definitely done that. And even past drafts before that, too. All the mishaps in the first round Jerry Reese had, they could have either taken their franchise quarterback then, or they could have maybe taken one in the second round to develop one with Eli, too. So they were behind the curve in a lot of areas where they just wanted to go for quote unquote their guys more. Jerry Reese was famous for it. He took a lot of wacky first round picks, and so does Dave Gettleman. So John says a good pickup is Blake Martinez. Yeah.
Great pickup.
Yeah,
great pickup.
He's a nice linebacker too. Another one though that can't stay healthy and also has a lot of trouble in coverage. So again, they need somebody to complement that. That's why I wanted them to draft Isaiah Simmons last year in the 2020 draft, because he could definitely do that, and he could also be a hybrid safety type too. So
I think that they were more trying to build their offensive line. They were more looking towards the growth of trying to protect their quarterback, as well as they should. And I think this coming year, this is not an offensive line year going into the draft. I think the Giants need to look for the best offensive lineman that falls to them in the first round, because they need to rebuild this offensive line. This offensive line is horrendous. It is. And to pay an offensive lineman to come to your team, you're paying him big bucks. You're paying him $80-90 million for a top lineman to come to your team. You can't do that. You saw what what's his name again from the Patriots who got
Trent Brown?
No,
Nate Solder.
The kid that went to the Kansas City Chiefs this year. Tooney got an $86 million contract from Kansas City, and he wasn't even a left tackle.
Nope.
He was a guard. Okay? So, and he's a top guard in his league, but they paid him what a tackle would make. Okay? So that's the way the league is leaning towards. Their tackles are getting paid, corners are getting paid, quarterbacks are getting paid. Running backs are thrown to the waste after 3 or 4 years.
Right.
It doesn't matter how good they are. Okay? Because you could find one in the later drafts.
And they platoon.
Wide receivers, you have to be a top 10 wide receiver for a team to actually overpay you, like A.J. Brown. Or like Odell Beckham.
Unless you're Kenny Galladay, then you'll still get overpaid anyway.
But the Giants had to overpay, or Kenny Galladay wasn't going to the Giants. Kenny Galladay was looking at 2 different teams, and the Giants were definitely the last one that he was really interested in going. The Giants had to overpay him to bring him to the Giants, because I don't think he wanted to play with the Giants.
That's what happens when you have a bad team around you. You have to overpay for those guys.
That's not what I read at all.
Well, really, because that's what I read. That's what I read.
I read he loved the meeting with the Giants.
I didn't hear that, because they actually let him go. And by the way, he went to interview for 2 other teams. What were the other 2 teams that he was interviewing?
The Ravens were one.
I know the Ravens. He was very interested, and there was another one.
Remember.
There was another team.
Philly? I think it might have been Philly.
It was another team. But the Giants were the last team he was interested in going to. And that's why the Giants offered him the most money. And that's a fact. Go look that up. The Giants offered him $10 million more than the Ravens did, and $10 million more than whoever the other team was.
I'm not sure. I think it was the Eagles. By the way, we have Jeff on the phone.
What's going on, Jeff?
How are you? Very interesting point you made about what players earn, Errol. I wonder, I'm surprised you didn't sneak a fancy feast comment.
No, I didn't, because when we talk about the players, I do believe some players get too much money, but that's not the players' fault. That's just because.
Well, it was hilarious because we had a conversation on Sunday night, by the way. where a certain somebody that was in the call said no player deserves to earn any of the money they get.
Which is a joke. They're the best. They're the best.
A joke.
Yes.
No, it's their industry. All the players are getting are half of the TV contract. They deserve every penny they're getting. Just because it's their industry and that's what they get paid in their industry. People bitching and moaning about the money players make. Everyone had the same opportunity to get that job. But apparently y'all were too lazy to get in the weight room and work out or run sprints or whatever. But everyone had that job opportunity. So people bitching about money is ridiculous.
No, and I agree with you. But again,
not to mention they put their lives on the line.
Absolutely. Now, do I think Galladay is worth $76 million when I look at all the wide receivers in the league making less than him? No. But
you're forgetting an interesting like side point to this, right? Which is, and I've made this point to you before about the Jets, and you kind of agree to some degree with some players and whatever.
Yes.
But when you're a terrible team, you have to pay an idiot tax.
Absolutely.
Right? You have to overspend on some players to become a little better. So when then the better players come up in free agency, then you can get those people. Because the better players in free agency aren't showing up unless you're ready to win. All the guys that have become free agents, if you notice, they try to go to teams where they can win, unless they're just looking for the money. Right? Which Galladay, God bless him, he upgraded in a team.
He did.
He went from the Lions to the Giants.
And he got a lot of money for it too.
And he got a bunch of money for it. But this is the point. You pay an idiot tax. So when you're going, oh, they overpaid this guy. Bad teams, sorry, Speedy, which the Giants have been in the last few years. I'm not trying to pick on the Giants.
Dysfunctional since 2016. I know.
You have to pay an idiot tax to get some of these guys. Guys take like the hometown discount or a little less money than they could have made somewhere else to go to teams like New England, Kansas City, like the teams, Tampa. How many guys just took a haircut on Tampa?
Yeah.
Am I right?
No, you're right. You're right.
Right. So when you're like, oh my God, we overpaid for this guy. Yeah, because you fucking suck.
Read what everybody is saying, Speedy.
Carl says, how about Booger McFarland demanding that FSU fire Mike Norvell and hire Deion Sanders? Don't make that move, FSU. Deion Sanders is also coaching somewhere else, too.
They should make that move. Just like the move from Michigan should be firing Harbaugh and hiring Charles Woodson.
John Suggs says, tackle Evan Neal out of Alabama, 6'7", 360 pounds. Neal blocks out the sun on the Alabama offensive line. Giants need to do everything in their power to draft him. Ben says, Tooney has been looking for a salary increase. He's a close relative of my uncle. Carl says, no Dion yet, maybe in a few years. And John Suggs says, idiot tax, Nate Solder. Yeah, pretty much.
Right, but at the time, see, this is what people...
No, at the time, I actually liked it, Jeff.
Because at the time, you were an idiot, right? Because at the time, you were an idiot. Because I had said to you, you're going to hate him. Why are you going to hate him? Because I was like, I just spent all these years watching Nate Solder, and he wasn't very good. You want to know why he didn't give up a lot of sacks? Because Tom Brady got the ball out of his hand quicker than any other NFL quarterback. That's why he didn't give up a lot of sacks. And that's why you don't pay for Patriots.
I would agree with you on that. To me, every single...
Does it work out with Shane Vereen? No. Does it work out with Deion Lewis? No. Does it work out with Solder? No. The Branch, Givens, the list of Patriots who are going to suck if they go to another team is endless.
Right. It's pretty much everybody except for Chandler Jones and Asante Samuel.
and I would also throw in another one. You're going to say, oh, he wasn't that good or whatever. I actually think he was. Danny Woodhead was a really nice player.
True. I forgot. Yeah, that's right. That's true. No, I like Danny Woodhead. Ben says he wants more guaranteed money from the Chiefs, so that's interesting. So they're trying to restructure the contract, I guess.
I wouldn't do that. You gave him the contract. He agreed to the contract. You don't give him any more.
Well, you can't sign him and then restructure in the same year. So
absolutely
maybe in the offseason it's possible, but a restructure is just an advance on that money. It's not.
Yeah, Ben, are you referring to the offseason or the regular season? Because, I don't know.
They just gave him that contract. First of all, they can't. How's that? They can't do that.
John says, LeVar Arrington, 7-year, $49 million. Yeah, that was.
I remember 15
years
Wasn't that
ago.
Washington?
It came from Washington and then went to the Giants, I believe.
Yeah, I remember LeVar Arrington. What a bust he became from Penn State. I remember.
But I hope that moron that was on that phone call is listening to this now. because those players deserve that money, you idiot.
Who are we talking about? I know who you're talking about.
Thou who shall remain nameless.
By the way, shout out to all the Jews out there. Happy Yom Kippur. Happy New Year to all the Jews out there. So everybody, with everything that's gone on in the world and the craziness that's going on in all different parts of the country and the world, there are some good things that are coming, that are here for us in this country, in this world. So back to you, Jeff. I know you're here. So we're going to go over the week 2. The week 2's games, and we're going to go and we're going to do our picks. So we'd like you to get involved with it. But before we get into that, Tyler, I want to finish this up with you with the Giants, because Jeff, I know you're a big supporter for Daniel Jones, right?
I love Danny Dash. Do you see him running?
So
we do.
Do you
By the way, that wasn't a hold, and that should have been a touchdown for the Giants. That was a terrible holding call.
Do you think that the Giants have done Daniel Dimes a disservice on building the team around him in the last 3 years?
I mean, yes and no, right? Yes and no, because here's the thing. Has it worked out? Clearly, no. Have they tried? Clearly, yes. They weren't paying Nate Solder to be terrible. They thought he was going to be good. Did it work out? No, and they tied up that money. But they were trying. They also, that year, they signed Nate Solder, drafted Will Hernandez, who I think he came out of UTEP.
Yep.
Right? And he was one of the premier guards in that draft. And everyone was like going crazy. Oh my God, how did Will Hernandez fall to like the second round or whatever?
Yeah, because of his combine, people were raving about him.
Right. So they tried. They thought they were getting good players there because at that time, people went, oh my God, we signed Nate Solder and then drafted Will Hernandez. We totally just took care of the left side of the line. That's what everybody said. Did it work out?
No, I didn't.
Not really.
I didn't like Will.
Really.
I didn't like Will Hernandez.
But the effort was there, and they tried to do it. You can't fault a person for things falling through.
Yeah.
You draft players. We talked about this before. Hit rates. The hit rate on players can be wild sometimes. It's a lot lower than you think of guys getting drafted in the first round and not getting a second contract from that team. Right.
Yep.
So when you invest in those guys, right? Okay, Will Hernandez has a bad first year. You go, well, he was a rookie. We got to give him some time. And that's how it happens. And that's how things fall through. So they've missed a couple of times. But it's not like they ignored it and just said, screw it. We're going to have Saquon and Danny Jones and 1,000 receivers. They tried.
I just think that when you look at the Giants and the position that they're in, all I keep hearing from the Giant fans is Daniel Jones stinks. Daniel Jones isn't a good quarterback. He's not a quarterback that you can build your team around. And I beg to differ because there are flashes every single game that explains and shows me that this kid can play and can be a successful quarterback.
He's better than they're giving him credit for. And Giants fans are also forgetting the fix was in with Danny Jones. He was going to be their quarterback no matter who was in that draft. The fix was totally in. He was Eli's guy.
I
he
agree
was
with
Peyton's
you.
guy.
I agree with you.
Who coached Daniel Jones at college?
Cutcliffe. I forget his first name.
Right, David Cutcliffe.
Yeah.
Oh, look, who was Peyton Manning's coach in college?
David Cutcliffe.
David Cutcliffe.
Mm-hmm.
The fix was in. He went to the Manning Passing Academy. They liked him. Eli went back to the team and said, this is the guy. Look at the lineage. And it wasn't going to matter who was there. He was the guy.
I just don't think that...
You want to blame someone for this? Don't blame Gettleman. This was all on the Mannings.
Who listened to the Mannings? Gettleman. What?
Everybody
don't
listens
blame
to
the gun.
Mannings. Everybody listens.
Don't blame the shooter. Blame the gun. Come on, man. What the hell?
How do you look two Hall of Famers right in the eyes that have just played in this era of quarterbacks, right? Basically, right? Still kind of
and won 4 Super Bowls.
It's my team.
And go.
Thank
you know nothing.
It's my team. It's my scouting department. We'll draft who we think needs to be drafted. Thank you. A backbone. Oh God, what a shame.
They obviously liked him, Tyler, because they loved his pro day. They loved what he did at the combine. He looked very good at the combine. Yeah, his pro day.
There were people saying that if he went in the first round,
Also can't hate that decision because they had a decision to make. Dwayne Haskins was there. Did they win or lose by passing on Dwayne Haskins?
Right. If they were going to draft, they drafted right.
They won in that sense, but I was with Tyler. I still wanted another position.
I just don't think the Giant fans give him enough
credit. You should
be
more upset with the other things that they've done. How about trading back into the first round to draft cornerbacks or defensive backs that are robbing people at gunpoint?
Yeah.
That you then cut. Right?
Yeah.
There's other things that you could point to and go, oh, that stinks. I happen to think Daniel Jones is pretty good.
Ben says that was the reason he left to sign with the Chiefs. He wanted more guaranteed. Okay, thank you for clearing that up. Carl says Day of Atonement and Tyler Atonement and Tyler is very quiet. John says
because there's no right or wrong here. There really is no hindsight.
There is a right or wrong. It was Daniel, dude. In that draft, Kyle Lamar went first.
In that draft, if you needed a quarterback, I get it. I understand.
Right,
all right,
and you needed a quarterback. You guys had You guys had better luck putting up a scarecrow quarterback than Eli Manning those last couple of seasons.
I get
you guys were dying to get rid of him.
So
you don't think that was a good throw? You don't think that was a good throw?
I mean, he underthrew him, but all right.
That was a great throw.
You know what? He doesn't understand that you can't just lead guys on every throw because you could get wide receivers killed.
That was a great throw. Perfect throw.
Are we going to analyze every single
because
throw
you don't want to
of
give the
game?
kid credit. You don't want to give the kid credit.
It's not about. He's not a winner. He's not.
How do you know what he is? We don't know what he is.
I hate Michael Kay and I hate Don LaGreca, but you know.
Well, Don LaGreca is a good friend of mine.
That's great. I love Don LaGreca. I hate Michael Kay, and that's just how that goes. But anyway, oh look at that! He almost overthrew a freaking tight end. Great job. So here we
flew it
go.
over a defensive player. Did you see that?
I'm trying to talk.
You're also ignoring that, or you're also ignoring that like 7-yard touchdown he would have had if it wasn't for a phantom hold call. And you're not giving him credit for that skill set.
Hold on, I'm not praising a Lamar Jackson. That's what Daniel Jones is a less athletic.
He's not Lamar Jackson. You're not a quarterback, right?
He's not Lamar Jackson. He is less athletic version of Lamar Jackson. He's not going to beat you with his arm. He is not going to be able to make every throw in the book. So,
meanwhile, they say Daniel Jones can make every single throw in the ball.
Who's they?
What are you talking about? Every single person that was scouting him says he can make every single throw.
I want that. I want those reports put on my.
He's thrown the ball really well.
He's thrown the ball very
really well.
He's having a good game. But by the way,
he drew him offside. He just threw Washington offside.
Come on, stop
on a snap count.
Stop. You're picking up peanuts and trying to tell me it's peanut butter
because you don't want to give the kid credit.
It's not about credit, Errol. He's won 8 games in his career. 4 of them are against the Redskins.
The team stinks. What do you expect? The team stinks. The Giants stink.
I understand. What I'm trying to tell you is he has historically good success against the Redskins.
Oh, look at this. The RPO and running for a first
an
down.
RPO. Wow. Look at that.
Creativity from Jason Garrett.
Oh, hey. God. Yay. Yay!
Yeah, but you're forgetting the quarterback has to make that decision. He has to come up with that read.
I'm not saying he's an idiot. What I am saying is he cannot win a game with his arm. He has not done so. And that's just the sad reality of the situation.
He also really hasn't had a full season with Saquon Barkley, right? So they played together their rookie year, right? And then he was hurt all last year. They're finally coming back together, and they finally have some pieces. Why don't you wait and see what he's got?
Maybe I don't know if you were not listening. Maybe you're half in the bag. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Would you rather have Justin Herbert or would you rather have Daniel Jones?
Nobody's telling you that nobody wants Justin Herbert. What are their chances that we're going to get him? Don't you get it?
High.
Oh, really?
Very high.
Really?
That offensive line was good?
Really?
Was that good?
Really?
Was the offensive line good, Daniel Jones?
Now, let me again, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to Justin Herbert. Just because they were drafting at 4, okay? Who's to say they would be drafting at 4? 1. Number 2, what are you making faces for?
Why wouldn't you draft your franchise quarterback at 4 if you did it at 6?
Because
no, I think you were saying the scenario.
You don't know if Justin Herbert was going to be there at 4. 1. Number 2,
Straight up.
Number 2, if Daniel Jones wasn't there, they would have started some other quarterback that
Eli.
year, and they probably would have had a better record.
Would
And
have
they
been
wouldn't.
Eli.
And they wouldn't be drafting
Eli
at 4.
didn't have another year in him. Eli didn't have another year.
They would
in
have paid him a year to come back.
You sound stupid. You really do.
Or who was the backup behind Daniel Jones that year? Colt McCoy.
So Speedy,
okay,
right.
I think it was
Colt
Geno Smith.
all
wasn't
right.
it?
Colt McCoy's going to win
Speedy,
5 games.
I don't want to go on and on with this. Let's go through our games, our picks. We have 20 minutes. We'll go through half of them, and then after our interview, we will finish it up. Okay.
All right, I'll just read some of the comments first.
Hey,
Oh, sorry.
You don't have to. You can just make a pick too, Speedy. You don't have to write like a whole novel about
Yes,
why
we have
you're
a guest.
picking
I know we're pressed for time. I know we have a
Yeah,
guest.
you should know that anyways. You put a novel on it. But okay, let's go with the music and let's go.
Well, let's just read some of the comments first. Nick Gates out for the season. John says Duke versus Tennessee, ACC versus SEC is not the same. Also realized Giants is out 9 players now. Yep, sounds about
It's
right.
the same coach, right? It's the same coach. It's the same person developing them. Yes, Tennessee and SEC were tougher when Peyton was there than what Duke just had, for sure. No one's making that argument. But when you're talking about who the teacher is and who's developing these players, it's the same guy. So you can take that argument and stuff it.
All right, we'll start with the Rams at the Colts. All right, who wants to go first? What order are we going to go?
You'll go first, then Tyler, then Jeff, then me.
All right, I'm going to take the Rams in this one. I think it'll be a low-scoring, close game. I don't think the Rams offense will be as potent as they were last week. I think the Colts have very good defensive coaching, but the Colts did get exposed a little bit on the deep ball too. So the Rams will get some big plays. I have 20-13 Rams.
Matt Stafford puts an MVP case together this year. Rams blow them out.
Yeah, Rams blow them out. Easy. Go.
I think the game is going to be a lot closer than you think, but I have the Rams in the game too.
All right, Bills and Dolphins. I'm going to take Buffalo to bounce back. I think their offensive line was exposed a little bit last week, but Miami doesn't have as good of a pass rush as the Steelers do. And I'm going to take Buffalo 23-14.
I'm also taking the Bills. This game's going to be a blowout. That defense is going to make Tua go back to college.
Rough start for Buffalo. I don't think they're going to do all that well in the heat. Miami's defense is that good. I'll take Miami.
You want to know something? I want to go back and forth with this game, but I'm going to take Buffalo because if Buffalo loses this game, it's very hard to go 0-2 and make the playoffs. So,
the Jets are in that division. They'll have plenty of wins ahead.
Well, I have I got Buffalo in the game in a close game. I would say 17-16.
All right, Raiders at the Steelers. I'm going to take the Steelers. Even though their win against Buffalo was kind of ugly, I still think they match up well with the Raiders with the receiving depth that they have. The Raiders secondary not being great. The Raiders will keep it close with their offense. They have impressed me, but I'll take the Steelers 27-20.
I think Derek Carr wins this game. Big Ben is old. He's done, and the Raiders will clamp down on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I like the Raiders and I like the Raiders and the weapons too. I think they got enough to keep it interesting, and I think they'll win this game. I think Big Ben is done.
I got the Steelers in this game. I think they're going to be able to run the ball against this front seven. So I got the Steelers. I think this is going to be the game that Harris is going to explode in the NFL. So I've got the Steelers in this game, 18-10.
All right, 49ers and Eagles. I'll take the 49ers in this one. Semi-blowout, but not as big as people would think with all the injuries the Niners have had on their offense. And the Eagles played well last week defensively. I think they keep it close for a while, but I'll take the 49ers 24-13.
I think San Francisco is going to win this game handily, not a blowout, but I think they'll win by 7 to 10 points.
Yeah, I like the Niners. I just think they're better at every position, like every position.
Okay, and what I'm sorry, what is
49ers,
the game?
Eagles.
49ers, yes, the 49ers are going to win this game. I don't know what the Eagles are yet, and I'm not going to bet on Jalen Hurts, even though he had a great game. Number one, they played the Atlanta Falcons. You're playing San Francisco. The defense is good. Give me San Francisco 21-12.
All right, Broncos at the Jaguars. I got the Broncos in this one. A lot of the Jaguars in a lot of shambles. I think Lawrence will play better than he did last week, but how much better? The Broncos defense is very good. I would say 27-17 Broncos.
I'm actually going to lean towards that too. Real quick. Oh, this game's going to be a blow. Denver will win this game by 25.
I don't care. I'll take the Jaguars. Give me Ronnie Sunshine Bass throwing for 3 touchdowns.
I got the Broncos in this game. I think their defense showed up week number 1. I think week number 2, they're definitely going to show up. I believe Lawrence is going to have a lot of problems with that defense. So I have the Broncos winning 24-10.
All right, Bengals at the Bears. This one will be close, kind of higher scoring. The Bears defense didn't look good, but I will take them to bounce back a little bit because of that pass rush against a still not great Bengals offensive line. 28-24, Chicago.
I don't know about this one. This one's going to be interesting. Sorry, I'm doing two things at once. So we're talking about the Bengals. I think Cincinnati's going to go in there and upset them. I think Joe Burrow and this offense are pretty good. Joe Mixon's going to control the clock, and Khalil Mack can only stay on one side of the field.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I like the Bengals too in this. Matt Nagy doesn't seem to have control of that team. I think things are going to spiral out of control pretty quickly for him. So give me the Bengals in this one. The rebirth of Joe Burrow.
I think Justin Fields will show up in the second half. He will keep Chicago in the game. I think the Andy Dalton experiment is over. But I like the Bengals in this game. I like what I saw with Joe Burrows. He's continuing what he left off before he tore his ACL, MCL, and his knee. So I got the Bengals. I think Mixon's going to run all over the Chicago defense. Give me the Bengals.
All right, Saints and the Panthers in Carolina. I'm going to take the Saints. I think it'll be a close, low-scoring game. Both defenses were very good in week one. And I think the Saints have a little bit of a letdown, kind of a slow start, but they'll bounce back in the second half. I will say 23-17 New Orleans.
See, this is why I'm torn. I don't know what Jameis Winston we're going to get. Week one, Jameis is fine. Tampa Bay, Jameis will lose this football game. I do think the Saints will win, though. I think you're going to see a lot of Alvin Kamara, and I do think that defense is going to make Sam Darnold look like a New York Jet again. And Saints will win this game by 10 to 14 points.
Yeah, I don't know if you can pick someone that was a bigger surprise in week one than Jameis Winston. I don't think anyone thought he was going to play that well. And I do like the Saints, but I'm going to go with the Panthers in this game. I don't understand how anyone can bet against Sam Darnold throwing beautiful rainbow 57-yard touchdown passes to Robbie Anderson.
I'm going with
majestic throws like
I'm
that.
going with the
grow
Saints.
On trees.
I'm going with the Saints. I think the game will be close. Fourth quarter, I expect you're going to see a lot of Alvin Kamara. He's going to be able to run the ball. Carolina is not going to be able to stop Alvin Kamara and his offense, especially the wide receivers, which they had problems stopping the Jets wide receiver. I mean, Corey Davis. So give me the Saints in this game, 31-20.
All right. I'm assuming we all got the Browns. We could just say Browns move on against the Texans.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Vikings at the Cardinals. I'll take the Cardinals in this one. I think it will be closer than people think. Minnesota's offense, I think, plays a little better than they did last week, but Arizona's defense proved a lot against Tennessee. They did very, very well. I'll take Arizona 31-20.
This game will be a blowout. Kirk Cousins does not do well in these types of games, and he will not do another great game. So I'll take the Cardinals 31-14.
Yeah, I like the Cardinals in this game too. I thought they've improved every year. Not everyone's giving Kingsbury a lot of credit for improving every year. And, the Cardinals defense is much improved with a great rookie draft pick who leads that defense.
I like Arizona in the game. I think the game's going to be very close. Another close game. Minnesota will have a chance to win the game, but I like Kyler Murray. I like this run game. I believe it or not, I think Edmonds is going to be explosive this year. I think this is a much more deadlier offense than people think. So give me Arizona in the game, 35-15.
All right. I'm assuming we all have the Buccaneers over the Falcons, I would guess.
Yeah, it's going to be a blowout.
Uh-huh. Okay. Titans at the Seahawks. This one could be interesting.
I think this is the best game of the week.
I don't normally do this. I am actually going to take the Titans and Seattle losing at home. I think Tennessee bounces back. I think
they better.
They match up well with those wide receivers against some weak Seattle corners. And Seattle's receivers do too, but I think Tennessee's defense will do a little better this week. And the Seahawks lost. They won a weird road game. I feel like they're a pattern to lose a weird home game. I'll take Tennessee 34-31.
Seattle's going to win this football game at home. You're insane. Russell Wilson will be battling with Matt Stafford all year for MVP. And DK Metcalf will have a humongous day on Sunday.
You forgot about Kyler Murray, who's going to be up for an MVP as well. So I think you're blind.
That's
so you keep saying Matthew Stafford, but Kyler Murray had just as an impressive game as Matthew Stafford did. So
wonderful.
Stop saying Matthew Stafford is for the foregone conclusion he's the MVP.
I didn't. I said Russell Wilson and him will be battling all year.
All year for the position. What about Kyler Murray? Okay,
I don't know. When he gets hurt and misses 3 weeks,
okay,
he'll
so
probably hurt him.
that's your
Russell Wilson
prediction.
has a couple
when he
duds a
gets
year.
hurt, who he's never been hurt or ever missed a game. Unbelievable.
Prediction. Great prediction. by the way,
Yeah,
Tyler.
it's ridiculous.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, you guys always throw out winners.
I mean, I'll take Tennessee in this game. Everyone's forgetting the X factor. Mike Vrabel, powered by Patriot Power.
I like Tennessee in this game. They're not going to lose 2 in a row. I think this Tennessee team is my favorite to go all the way to the Super Bowl in the AFC. I think they're talented. Derrick Henry didn't have an explosive game in game number 1. Expect it in game number 2 against this defense. So give me Tennessee in the game.
All right, speaking of the Patriots at the New York Jets. I'm going to take New England. I think it'll be a close, low-scoring game. The Jets' defense did prove a lot last week against Carolina and those receivers. The Patriots' defense still very strong, though. I think both quarterbacks play well, but nothing special. I'll say 16-10, New England.
The Patriots will win this football game pretty easily, I think. The Jets, I don't think, will be able to. I think Mac Jones is going to have a phenomenal day. I think he's going to cement all Patriot fans' hopes in this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the Jets in this game. Terrible turnovers from the Patriots last week. I don't know how that's ever going to stop. They don't have enough depth at running back. Their defense is still pretty good, but, without Gilmore at corner, who they're missing, I just can't believe in this Patriots team right now. Give me the Jets.
Well, Cole will be back in Crowder, so it'll be explosive. They'll be more explosive than they were last year. But I'm going to take the Patriots in this game. I think it'll be very close. I could see the game 21-17. I could see it 17-15, 17-14. It's going to be close. But I think it's going to, by the end of the game, I think the Patriots will be able to stay close to the game where they can win the game. So give me the Patriots 17-16, 17-14, somewhere around there.
All right.
What are you giggling about, Speedy?
I'm giggling about me. What I'm about to say next. You guys are going to be amazed at what I'm about to do. Cowboys at the Chargers.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'm
amazing.
actually going to take the Chargers to win a close game, believe it or not.
You took them. I took them last week.
You did.
So.
You did. I'm going to take the Chargers to win this game. Their defense, I think, proved a lot last week in a new system with Brendan Staley. He's leaving his mark for a team that lost a lot of defensive players in the offseason. Dallas' defense looked good at times last week against Tampa as well, but I'm going to take the Chargers 27-21.
Chargers will win this game, but it won't be close. I hate to tell you that. Derwin James is going to be all over that field.
When you love somebody and you love a player, you'll just say it's not going to be close. It's going to be a blowout. You don't.
I haven't said Derwin's name. What is your problem?
No,
because every pick you have a problem.
No, I haven't. Because
Derwin James' name is never mentioned on this show.
If you hate somebody like you hate the Jets, you'll say something derogatory.
I didn't say anything about the Jets.
Speedy, you ready for this? Remember I said this. He will pick the Jets to lose every game this year.
Okay.
Every game this year.
Guarantee
Guarantee it.
You want to put money on that?
I guarantee
You want to put money on that?
I guarantee it. Go ahead.
You're mad I didn't pick the Jets?
No, I'm not. It's who you are.
What are you talking
about? You like to pick favorites. If you like Justin Herbert, you'll pick Justin Herbert.
I wasn't even going to bring up Herbert's name.
Yeah, okay.
I said Derwin James' name.
Derwin James, and I can't wait to hear Justin Herbert. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff. Spit it out.
Cowboys lose.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers in this game. Actually, for
you know what your problem is? You always pick favorites. Blah, 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 blah.
No, it's just you. You do it all the time.
No, I'm actually taking it for two very specific reasons. You wouldn't have been an idiot. The Cowboys out Lyle Collins, I think, and we don't know how Zach Martin's going to come back after being away. He did this week 1. So I think their offensive line is going to be a little shaky. And very quietly, the best rookie in the entire league this week, or last week, was Rashawn Slater on offense. Mm-hmm. They put together a video package of Rashawn Slater, and he was an absolute road grader. I think he's going to open a bunch of holes for Austin Eckler.
I think the game is going to be very, very close. The Cowboys are offensively sound. Their defense, I don't expect their defense to hold up like they did against Tampa last week. I think because it was week number 1, I think Tampa really didn't chop them up like I thought they were going to. But I thought the game was going to be close last week, and I think this game will be close. I got the Chargers to win the game. I think their running game, and I think their defense is a lot more explosive than people think. And Derwin James, to me, is an all-pro safety. He's the best safety in the league. So give me the Chargers on a close game, 21-17.
Do you think there's a certain listener in a field position crying because nobody picked the Cowboys?
No, but
he probably saw it coming.
He has the Cowboys winning too.
All right, I'm assuming we all have the Packers over the Lions Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
All right, so the last one is the Sunday
It'll be
night
close. That Packer game will be close.
Ooh, all right.
That will be a close game.
So Detroit covers the spread, I guess.
Yes.
All right. Sunday Night Football is our last one. Chiefs and the Ravens. I'm going to take the Chiefs. The Ravens have a lot of secondary concerns in that fourth quarter against the Raiders. That is not a good sign. I think the Ravens will keep it close with a couple matchups I like defensively or against attacking the Chiefs defense with their running game with Mark Andrews. I think that'll keep it close, but I think they'll have to settle for field goals. So I think the Chiefs end up winning it 31-23.
Ravens will win this football game. I think Lamar Jackson is sick and tired of being doubted on. Ravens will win the football game.
Yeah, I like the Chiefs. I just think they're going to have two. I just think the Chiefs are going to outscore the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens can score with Kansas City, and that's how the Chiefs will win.
Speedy, stop giggling. Or I'm going to throw my pen at you. I don't know why you're giggling. Every single thing that's mentioned, you giggle. Shut up and produce the show, okay? Number two, I think Baltimore will win this game. Kansas City, to me, I think they have deficiencies. And I've heard what Patrick Mahomes says. He believes that they could go 16 or 17-0 this year. He wants to be the next team to go undefeated and win a Super Bowl. I do not think they're going to go undefeated this year. And I think Baltimore is going to give them a huge problem in Baltimore, which Kansas City over the years has had problems beating Baltimore in Baltimore. I think this week it'll be a hard time to stop Lamar Jackson. And Baltimore coming off a terrible loss. They cannot go 0-2. Give me Baltimore in this game. I think it'll be very, very close. Baltimore wins because of their defense. And Lamar Jackson runs in 2 touchdowns in this game to help them win. So Baltimore will win the game in a close game. So those are the picks. I think the games are very interesting. Last week's games were better games. I really believe. I mean, there are a couple of games that really stand out. I mean, Carolina, if they're a contender this year, Carolina's got to win this game against the Saints, being that they're at home. Arizona and Minnesota, if Minnesota wants to make the playoffs and be a wild card team, they got to surprise everybody and knock off Arizona in Arizona. Okay? And Tennessee cannot go down 0-2 against the Seattle Seahawks team. Because to me, Tennessee was one of my favorites. I thought they were going to come out strong, losing week 1, which they should have won. And now going into week 2, they're playing a winnable game.
What a throw.
They're going to play a winnable game. Yes, it's in Seattle. This is not the same Seattle team that we once believed that they were, okay? Their defense, there's a lot of weaknesses in this defense. And this defense is getting old. This is not a dominant defense like we remember of the Legion of Boom. And the Chargers game could be the most interesting game out of all of them because I think both teams are strong in 2 different aspects of the game. I think what happened? What did you say?
They dropped a pass.
Oh, I'm
what
not
a
surprised.
Terrible drop that was.
Yeah, that's Daniel Jones' fault.
How much better of a throw can Daniel Jones make
That's Daniel Jones' fault. Let's blame him. It's always his fault.
15 completions, 130 yards.
That's right. And that's not his fault. He's not calling the plays.
But you want to know what, Tyler? Was that pass that was just thrown, was that Daniel Jones' fault?
No, it's not.
And he runs 60 or 70 yards. So
I'm not talking about any of the other things that you could have a complaint about. Just that pass that he threw. Was that Daniel Jones' fault?
That's a pretty good throw.
That's
a great
what
about that throw?
What about Darius Slayton?
What about
Darius Slayton, the guy that you said to scrap?
So you're saying that was because of Darius Slayton?
No, I'm saying that's a good throw, and Darius Slayton ran a great route.
He hates on Daniel Jones.
You guys don't listen. That's the problem.
No. Because Darius Slayton is not a great wide receiver. He is not. That was a great throw. That was a perfect throw right there on the money. And
that throw was right in the bucket, man.
That was right on the money.
Great catch. I'm not denying the throw.
You would have caught that.
I'm not denying the throw. Numbnuts. It's a great throw. Yeah. All right. Great catch, too.
You'll hate on him.
I didn't hate on him. Yeah. You're the one that's bringing it up.
No, Tyler, you hate on him.
The one before that was a good throw, too.
Go listen to the beginning of the show.
Kenny Galladay dropped a very catchable pass.
Go listen to the beginning of the show and saying, the Giants need to get rid of Daniel Jones.
I still stand
terrible.
by that. I stand by that.
You stand by it because you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about.
How's Sam Darnold look?
What do you mean, how's Sam Darnold look?
Yeah.
How does Sam Darnold look?
How does Sam Darnold look?
How does he look?
I don't know. He was great with the Jets. Now he goes to Carolina, and all of a sudden, he doesn't look great.
Oh, I said he was great with the Jets? I said he was great with the Jets. I said he was great with the Jets.
We could probably find about a half hour worth of random clips about Sam Darnold.
Meanwhile, I picked the Jets to lose every single game practically all week last year. You don't know what you're talking about. Do not bring the Jets. Do not bring the Jets.
Still not
do not bring the Jets.
And think Sam Darnold was a franchise quarterback.
No, I did not think he was a franchise quarterback. I said that the Jets ruined him last year, and you don't know what you're talking about. So don't bring up the Jets in conversation. What is your first protection? Bringing up the Jets. Stop bringing them up. You're the one who says that this kid stinks, which
I agree
completely
with you.
Wrong.
If he's on a better team with a better offensive line and better weapons, because you think they don't have any weapons, then yeah, he'll be a Kirk Cousins-like guy. But is he going to lead this team anywhere? No. Could Justin Herbert? Yeah. Sorry, they should have got Herbert. That makes it a bad take, ladies and gentlemen. They should have drafted a bona fide quarterback.
So hold on.
So sorry.
So hold on.
So terribly sorry.
So you're telling me that if Justin Herbert was on this team, they'd be better?
Without a question.
You don't know what you're talking
Without
about.
a question.
Now you're as dumb as you even look and sound. Okay?
Wait, the Giants don't win this game with Justin Herbert?
They're winning right now, you idiots.
Right. So they'd be better, right?
He plays one position.
So does Daniel Jones.
Exactly. It is not Daniel Jones on the reason why their defense can't stop a lick. You're going to blame him for that?
They had a top 10 defense last year.
Okay, so that's Daniel Jones' fault that they're not a top 10 defense right now.
They played one game.
Exactly. So you're telling me because Justin
about
Herbert,
all of
they're
last
winning
year?
right now, you idiot.
What
They're
about
winning right
last
now.
year? You're bringing up 1 week. He's been in the league 3 years.
You sound so stupid. You really do. You're Justin
Last
Herbert.
year but last year the team was
more
even worse
fumbles
too,
than
right?
touchdowns.
Okay.
You've yet to even
and
address that.
And their offensive line
Right,
didn't
but he
protect
also
them.
had more holes too. It helps him that Saquon Barkley is back too. Like you can't just do everything on your own. That's why Errol and I had talked about this right before. How many quarterbacks do you think
Don't we
have
have
been
a guess?
drafted?
Yes.
Which is a lot more important than talking about how Justin Herbert's clearly better than Daniel.
Is he in?
Why don't we ask
he
the
in our
guest?
line?
He is in.
Okay, so why don't we, Jeff, call back after our guest. We're going to go to a quick break, and then we're going to have our very special guest when we come back here on the Sports Loudmouths.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Setuha Karate. Located at 28 Cold Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. This is the Sports Loudmouths.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Sports Loudmouths. I'm your host, Daryl Marks. My co-hosts, Speedy Dan Petey and Tyler Mothball Harrison. Remember, you can call us at 631-672-3108. You can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Download our app by going to iOS, WWSRN, or Android, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Obviously, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. We're going to get Ovie on as soon as possible. He's probably having problems with his internet over there. Where is he living right now, Speedy? Did you get that information?
I think he's in Atlanta.
He's in Atlanta. Well, is there a storm going on over there? Probably. I don't know. I didn't look at the storm weather, but we will be talking to former Ravens and Falcons All-Pro fullback Ovie Mughelli. Anyways, there he is. What's going on, Ovie? How are you?
I'm good. My internet's being a little crazy today or tonight. I don't know why.
Well, we're happy that you're joining us. We are now talking to former Ravens and Falcons All-Pro fullback Ovie Mughelli. And obviously, Ovie Mughelli Foundation is a nonprofit organization empowering youth, communities, and promoting environmental change. So we'll be talking more about that with the interview. So, Ovie, tell us a little bit about your background. Obviously, you played for the Falcons and the Ravens. You're an all-pro player. Not many people could say they were an all-pro player. That means you were the best at your position that year. So tell us a little bit about your career, where you came from, and obviously being drafted as early as you were.
Yeah, I was blessed, man. I'm a regular dude that just likes or hates losing. And like my parents were Nigerian immigrants who didn't even like football. When I started playing in middle school, I didn't play Pee Wee. I started like in the 8th grade and just happened to be really good at it. But they wanted me to play soccer, like football. They have soccer greats in their family that had a chance to almost represent Nigeria, like on the national soccer stage. So they were big into me doing soccer, but I was too big for soccer. Even at a young age, I was a sweeper, so I just kicked the ball really hard and got close, missed the ball most times, and broke a lot of shins, or almost broke a lot of shins, including mine. So they decided to give me a chance at football. They were excited about the whole scholarship thing at Wake Forest because it saved them some money, and they were even more excited about me getting to get drafted. And they were even more excited when I became the highest paid fullback in NFL history and got a $18 million contract off something they thought was not even going to pay the bills. But that was a old school Nigerian doctor and was like, you need to go to medical school like your sister, like me, and be a doctor, because that way you can be guaranteed a healthy living and great lifestyle. I said, Dad, I can do that after football, which I never ended up doing. But football lasted longer than I thought. 10 years was a great career and a chance to meet some really cool people and play a sport that I've always loved.
So, Ovie, being drafted by the Baltimore Ravens 4th round in 2003, I think it was 2003 that you were drafted. Yeah. What was it like getting your name called? Where were you at? Were you in New York? Were you at home with your family? What was it like being selected by the Baltimore Ravens?
It was awesome. I definitely was not in New York. Even though I was the best fullback that year coming out, I think it was BJ Askew, myself, Justin Griffith, who originally, funny enough, was drafted to the Falcons, and I went to the Ravens, and I ended up coming to the Falcons. I don't know if there's ever been in the history of football a fullback invited to New York. We are necessary. According to some people, we're not, but we're never that highly lauded. Like, even though I was at the time, the highest paid fullback, I was still making, say only, but I was making $3 million a year. And I was making less than kickers. Like, the highest paid kickers was more than me. So I had like 3rd string receivers making more than me. And then it's fine. It's just that we get no respect. So I was at home with my family, just excited to get picked. My agent, the great Todd France, he was with CAA most recently. But he was like, oh, man, you're the best fullback on the draft. You might go as high as a late 2nd round. So I was already counting my money, and I said, okay. I was looking at back in the day we had slots. I was looking at my slot. I was like, all right, I can get this car and get this house, and I want to kick my mom this money. And as I watched the draft and the 2nd round was over, that's fine. I go 3rd round, and 3rd round, beginning, middle. I think I'm going to call my name in a second. 3rd round's gone, and in those days, I think day 3 was like the 4th round back in 2003. So I'm sitting here watching through 1 day, 2 days. I'm in my 3rd day. I'm like, come on. The 4th round goes middle 1st round, the first beginning of it, middle. And I was like, I was so hot because fullbacks that weren't better than me were getting called. I'm like, if they're taking these bozos, like, when's my name getting called? The 134th pick of the 2003 draft, the Ravens, Ozzie Newsome, finally called me. And it was the best call. I was so frustrated. Like, I was going to make every team that passed on me, like everyone says all the time, pay for not choosing Ovie Mughelli. I was hot. And I was also terrified when I realized that the Ravens drafted me, which had Ray Lewis and Peter Boulware and Tony Zaragoza and Ed Hartwell and Delius Thomas and Bart Scott and, Ed Reed and Chris McAllister, every monster. Like, the number 1 defense in the NFL were my sparring partners. which was the best and worst thing ever because it got me. It toughened and hardened me to where games were easy because practice was hard as hell, and it made me into who I am today.
So you actually got to block for two of the better running backs of the 2000s, and Jamal Lewis with the Ravens when he was there, and then Warwick Dunn when he went to Atlanta for a couple years. So what were they like in terms of like them being as teammates and also their running styles? Like how was it different adjusting with Lewis kind of being more of a power back and Dunn being more of a shiftier guy? How was it like adjusting to that?
Well, I mean, Jamal Lewis was a monster. That was one of the few situations where my tailback was bigger than me. I was 245, and he was 250. He was a giant, but solid muscle, like 250 pounds, scary fast. I mean, y'all saw him breaking all types of records, running 300 yards and stuff. And Jamal was cool. He was laid back. He was just like, don't mess it up. Don't F it up. He always say, hey, young boy, Mughelli, don't F it up for me. Don't you mess it up. Just block your man. I'll do the rest. I said, I got you, Lou. But no, he made it to where you didn't have to block the right guy. You just had to block somebody because he was really good about following me. He put his hand on my back and like pushed me forward. He pushed me down a couple times. Like, go. There's nowhere to go. The line's not moving. But with Warwick Dunn, it was more, you never knew where he was going to bounce out. You never knew he's going to make a cut block, which made the blocks for me harder because I'm supposed to block this guy. I'm assuming Warwick's right behind me. So my angles are with the assumption that he's right behind my back. And this guy jumps out to the side, hey, jump out. I'll take you where you want to go. But Warwick will be so shifty. He fake this way, that way. I'm trying to block the guy, and he's going left to right. And I'm thinking I have him. I'm blocking him right into Warwick Dunn. So I had to be more tempered with my aggressiveness. It was more of just fitting, not blowing the guy up. I just needed to get a body on him for Warwick. And after Warwick, I only got a year with Warwick Dunn. Then I had the great Michael Turner, which was another power back that was loads of fun to block for. We used to talk trash to, Saints games. And, I was 250, 255. I got a little bigger in my older years. And he was like 250. Not even, I'd say about 245. Still a big, heavy dude. And we would just rumble down and up the field, up and down the field. It was good times.
Mr. Ovie, we share the same birthday, by the way, so happy belated birthday.
Oh, good stuff, man.
Now, I know you brought up fullbacks and how you feel like they're not respected at all, and it's honestly not a dime position, but most wide receivers or tight ends now they'll bring in behind the quarterback. And
I think it is a dying position. I think it is.
So now you've got Kyle Juszczyk, who has been the best fullback now in about 7-8 years, respectfully. So
yep.
Do you think Kyle Juszczyk can kind of regenerate the fullback position, or do you think it's just going to be gone to the weeds?
I think he can. I mean, one of the things great about Kyle is that he's more of a complete back. You can see him catch out the backfield, and you can see him do some short yardage stuff. And I think whenever they try and get H-backs to do it all because, we'll just get a tight end or a guy who can, do it all, it never really works because when it comes to the run game, they're always – blocking like tight ends. They're not blocking from a I formation, run full speed, contact, roll your hips and move people. Like, who was it? Todd Heap was with the Ravens and Tony Gonzalez tried to kick me out of my fullback position to keep the defense guessing. And on run plays, they go from tight end spot and lineman fullback and run plays. Both of them respectfully came up to me. And I forget Tony Gonzalez. He said, hey, Ovie, tell Coach I ain't doing that shit no more. Like, tell him that I'm not doing that shit. No. He was like, F no, I ain't doing it. I was like, you're Tony Gonzalez. I can't. I try to tell him I can catch the ball too. I'm not you catching the ball, but I can stay in for these passing downs. He's like, my head hurts. I think I had like 3 concussions that one play. This ain't for me. So tight ends like to talk big, but they don't want to really get grimy and guttural and just, go up there and beat heads in. That's not something that somebody who plays at the tight end position can usually do. So if they want to keep the run game alive and keep it, I think a really important part of the offense, you got to have a true fullback in there. I think Kyle is doing a great job.
As you guys know, we are talking to former Ravens and Falcons and St. Louis Rams All-Pro
for 4
fullback.
weeks.
I'm looking over here. I was like, he played for the Rams.
At least it's St. Louis.
All-Pro fullback Ovie Mughelli. Now, Ovie, what is it like? Now, obviously, you're a 2-time second-team All-Pro in 2006 and 2010.
You don't have to have a second team. Just say 2-time All-Pro. It sounds better. I never had a second team. Just keep it all.
I'm sorry. All-Pro player. What is it like getting that phone call and being introduced and them telling you that you made the All-Pro team?
It was huge. The All-Pro, it was really nice, but what really made my day was the Pro Bowl. And in 2011, I was All-Pro, my second All-Pro, my first Pro Bowl, because for fullbacks, you really got to make a lot of noise and beat doors down, people to notice you, because you could have the best fullback performance, but if your tailback is not balling out of control, and if you're not winning, and if you're not in a high-profile market, you'll get looked over every time. I had of course, I'm going to say this, but, realistically, I had, 4 years out of my 10 years played where I was unquestionably the best fullback in the league. From, I was always on the, these lists of unsung heroes or, gritty player. I got these little small podcasters or fan sites that recognize, because they actually get the, the full 22 and they watch fullbacks. And back when Pro Football Focus was as infancy, they'd say, the highest graded fullback as far as making your blocks, Ovie Mughelli, year after year after year. But I didn't always have, again, the big market, the tailback with, stupid amount of yards or a winning team. And so they would choose, and it would just it bothered me so much. They would choose fullbacks who are just fat tailbacks who, he had so many yards. He has these yards. Dude played tailback in college at Nebraska. He's just fat. Or they say, this one fullback had all these catches. He's a freaking tight end. That's why he had these catches. You're not even a fullback. You just change your position and get into the Pro Bowl. I was so irritated. So when I finally got it in 2011 and I got a chance to go to the Pro Bowl, it was everything, man. Obviously, Super Bowl is the ultimate, but the next to that, just knowing that you are the best at your position in the world or in America is an awesome feeling. And then playing with greats like I had Adrian Peterson, Marshawn Lynch, guys I was walking for in the Pro Bowl, and Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, my quarterback, and just playing with these guys who I watched around the league. I knew some of them, but that level of respect where they looked at you was like, all right, I see you, I see 34. All right, Mughelli, I've been hearing that you've been handling your business, doing your thing, but there's just a solidification in stone where they can't take it away from you. And for the Falcons, I was the first Pro Bowl fullback in the Falcons franchise history, which they can never take away from me. So I true Falcons fans, they get excited. They see me grocery store, but because of the helmet, because of my low profile nature, no one knows who the heck I am. No one knows me. And I'm fine with that. I've never been a glory hound or where my me. Hey, love me, please. That's never been me. But it's always cool when you get a true Falcons fan or
You're not Steve Young. You're not Joe Montana. Come on.
No. I don't have to worry about those issues. I just appreciate whenever the old school fans really understand the role I played in some of our best years here.
Well, there's a lot of fans asking us questions. Before we let you go, Ovie, I'm going to read off all the questions, and you can answer all the questions for the fans.
Sure.
Ovie Mughelli's Foundation, a nonprofit organization empowering youth communities and promoting environmental change. Go ahead, Speedy.
Yeah.
So
no, it's good stuff. Let's see. Foundation, I started when I was my second year with the Falcons. It was all about my love for my kids, because my kids were born premature. They were like itty bitty things, 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, and they couldn't leave the NICU because their lungs were underdeveloped. But more importantly, the air quality in Atlanta was so bad that it would have really harmed them. It could have been fatal. And it was just crazy to me because I didn't know that, the environment or air quality or stuff like that would ever affect me. If that was like a Rich White thing or an Al Gore thing, just not my thing. But when it affected my kids, I wanted to learn more. So I actually linked up with Ted Turner and Al Gore and some of the giants in the environmental industry, because, again, not really something I ever thought I'd be interested in. But when you talk about what's affecting your kids, it's going to be the highest priority for me because I want to be a father, a protector, a provider, and I can't do that if I'm not educated. So the more I learn, the more I realize that, if you really want to take care of our kids and our grandkids, you have to be aware of not only climate change and global warming, but, what's we're doing to our planet. Because, if you love sports, you need clean air, you need clean water, you need God for your earth to play sports. And it's not a really manly thing. In fact, there was no NFL player back in 2008 talking about environment. So I decided to be the first. We had green football camps. We had a green tailgate we created. We created a Gridiron Green, which is a comic book where I have the first sports and environmental superhero. We worked with UNICEF to kind of get kids excited about just making small practical lifestyle changes to help the planet and to allow them to keep on playing the sports they love. So we're really excited about some of the work we're doing. And, I'll drop an email at the end.
Absolutely.
omfgreen@me.com for anybody who has any questions or wants to get involved.
If you ever come to New York, I would love to do something with your foundation. It would be great. We live on Long Island. There's so much to do in the summertime. Even in the wintertime, there are certain things that we can do for the children and your foundation. So
awesome.
Maybe we'll talk about that off air, but we would love to help.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So my question is, in terms of players you played against, this also connects with one of our fans. Carl is asking, hardest blitzer to pick up as a fullback, and just overall defensive player that you played against in your career.
You know what? You would think that like some of the bigger guys like Takeo Spikes and Jeremiah Trotter, gave me trouble. And who was the old silverback monkey dude the Steelers? James Harrison. There you go. James Harrison was just like a mongoloid of a man. He's just like he wasn't. I say this not in a racist way at all, but he was like more of like a silverback, like a huge animal that he wasn't human. Like it was damn near impossible to block him. It was more of just a hold on type of thing. But with him and Joey Porter, we had some battles. But the funny thing is, Al Wilson, linebacker, was one of the most difficult guys to hit. When I hit him, it was like a brick wall, and he was like a stubby little stump that you couldn't dig out of the ground. And it was a very, very difficult thing. But when it comes to the defensive ends, Michael Strahan, hands down, it was impossible to even slow him down. And I remember one time I don't know why they drew it up this way. They said, Ovie, so you block Michael Strahan. And so I was like, no. By myself? But like, who's helping me? Is the tackle going to come out and help me? You just want me to block him by myself. And I was good and I was coming off my pro, I was all-pro player, but I was like, this is Michael Strahan. And he's been killing people all year long near the end of his career. It was an honor to block him, and it was a terrifying moment. Just holding on for dear life with my cleats just sliding in the dirt and the mud. But I was just loving every second of it because I'm a huge fan of his and watched him when I was in high school.
Don't tell Warren Sapp that.
Yeah, true. True.
Now,
so
Ovie,
those are some of the guys I had trouble against.
Now, Ovie, obviously, you've been in the NFL, and I was actually going to ask how you started your foundation, but you kind of went into the backstory of that just now with your children and everything like that. Now, the reward of going to the Pro Bowl, I'm sure, doesn't compare to the amount of kids you've helped. What is the next step for your foundation, and what are you looking to do next?
No, great question. We're coming out with our second comic book. The comic is just really to engage the next generation, because the easiest way to get people to care about our planet and make some of these small practical lifestyle changes, and also take advantage of making green by going green, is by getting them to respect and love the planet. And that comes through storytelling. Just explaining to them that we're not on borrowed time, but we got to really take advantage of, I think, all the ways we can use, from clean energy to save energy to, keep our air as pure as possible. Getting them excited about being part of the innovations and being part of the solutions, I think is something that you could start just by letting themselves be seen as superheroes for the planet. So the Gridiron Green is kind of based on Captain Planet. I was a nerdy kid that loved Captain Planet as a kid.
Loved
I
him
think I was
too.
like the
Loved him too.
yeah.
Loved
I was singing the song and watching our man Kwame.
He's
Yep.
a hero.
Yeah, gonna take pollution down to zero. So I had a chance to meet, Ted Turner and his daughter, and even the grandson, John Seidel, is on my board and has helped me out, kind of just grow this thing because he's appreciative for my love of his grandfather's work, and he's helping me for the next generation create something really special. So the next step is come out with the second issue, which is all about recycling. We have it already done. We're just looking for a publisher and trying to find some schools and sponsors to kind of push it out. So we're doing some big things and hoping that, even with this pandemic, we can still push this message.
We are talking to former Ravens and Falcons All-Pro fullback Ovie Mughelli. Ovie Mughelli's foundation, a nonprofit organization empowering youth communities and promoting environmental change. Ovie, one of the questions one of our fans had, as a fullback, how big of a concern is CTE going forward in your life without football now?
That's a great question. I've been involved in a couple of studies, neurocognitive tests, and wore the little cap that measures your brain waves and everything else. Because I have some guys I played with that aren't doing that great. Their speech is a little slurred, and they're not quite all the way there or as quick. And God didn't make us to go full speed and then run into each other. That's not how He manufactured our brains and our fluids. But we do it anyway because we love it and we can't help ourselves and we're stupid. But I would probably do the same exact thing, knowing all the risks. I don't know if I want to put my son in harm's way immediately. Like, he's 6 and he won't play till maybe 8th grade, 9th grade. Just because my wife worked with the Raiders and she's also known players who, aren't doing as great. So there is a concern there. There is definitely a concern because what's the point in making millions of dollars, having great memories if your life's cut short by 10, 20, 30 years. Right. So I'm hopeful that technology is going to help us be safer. I'm hoping that we can make the game safer too with some of the rules, even though some of them are just doing too much. And that there's a balance, because I feel bad for the defensive players that touch the quarterback and they say, "Oh, flag, you can't touch Tom Brady, you can't do this," and they in college they kick these kids out because in midair you should have matrixed yourself and twisted yourself so you didn't hit him, because you should have known he was going to slide when you're on your downward trajectory. I get the safety, but it's also still football. You know what you're signing up for. So as long as they keep a balance, and I think keep the game that we love while doing all they can to keep the players safe, I think we'll be in good hands.
Two other questions that the fans had. Did you model your game after Larry Sanders? One, and your most memorable moment living in Charleston, South Carolina?
Chucktown. Did I model my game after Larry Sanders? No. I modeled my game after Lorenzo.
Larry Centers, I think it was.
Oh, Centers. No, I did not. Lorenzo Neal, Michael Turner's old fullback. Funny enough, I watched a lot of his film. I watched a lot of Max Strong's film. I watched some of Mike Allsop's film, but he wasn't the best blocker. He was just a hell of a runner. He was a monster.
Mm-hmm.
He had some good blocks as fullback. As far as like a solid blocker, like Lorenzo Neal was, laying people out, and Max Strong's doing the same, and some other great fullbacks growing up. But no, I was a tailback in high school. I changed to fullback in college just so I could stay on the field. But I love the game, and I got nothing but love for Chucktown, for Charleston, South Carolina. It is my hometown where I grew up. My mom and dad are still there doing the doctor thing. I didn't become a doctor like my dad wanted and disappointed him, like I mentioned earlier. But I dabble in medical sales now, and I help doctors make money and help their patients. So it's still somewhat in the medical field to keep them happy. So Charleston, great weather, great food. I'm probably going to retire there, but right now it's a bit too slow for me as a 41-year-old man. Plus, I got a bunch of kids I got to wrangle here in Atlanta.
So one more question for me. Who is your favorite moments with teammates? Like who's a teammate that you really enjoyed playing with? And who's maybe an under the radar guy that maybe you really just had a lot of fun with, either team, either the Ravens or the Falcons? We actually interviewed some of your teammates last year too. Trevor Price with the Ravens. We interviewed him last year, and also Von Hutchins and Antoine Harris, who you play with in Atlanta as well.
You got Antoine Harris?
We got him last year. Yeah, he was hilarious.
Oh, that's a low-key, really solid dude. He's a special teams assassin, man.
Yeah. So who are some of those guys? Like, who are some of your favorite guys that you were played with on both?
I'll tell you that I laughed more than I ever did in my life within the Falcons running back meeting rooms with Michael Turner and Jarius Norwood and our running back coach. Like, it was just pure comedy every single day. Like, it was something that I look back fondly on, because I don't know how we got any work done. Like, we were always like, we were so childish. We'd write stuff on the wall. We'd draw pictures of our coach, and we sneak in some stupid like some comedy film and shows. We just never took anything seriously, yet we were like top 2 or 3 rushing attack in the league for 2008, 9, 10. But we had so many inside jokes. But when it came to game time, we were all business. We had the mentality that, if someone's gonna F up this game, it ain't gonna be the running back room. We're not fumbling. We're not gonna create turnovers. We're gonna do our part to make Matt Ryan's job easy. And back then, Matt Ryan was young, so we said, let's not put the game in his hands. Let's take over, and we would do that. But as far as undercover guys, I'd say, let me see, back in Baltimore, Edwin Mulatalo. Edwin Mulatalo was a left guard for the Ravens, and he was just one of the coolest. Like, he reminded me of like a fat version of The Rock. Like, he was just like a cool, funny, charismatic, keep the whole O-line together. But what I loved is that he had so much dog in him during the games, like just as a Samoan warrior, and he had he do the hockey dance, whatever, and he would. It was really cool just being his friend, because as big time as he was, and as much money as he got, he was a down to earth guy. Would sit with everyone, helped me out my rookie year and second year. I didn't play much fullback. Jamal told me, Jamal Lewis, don't F it up. And Edwin Mulatalo has the more the positive side. He's like, hey man, you got this. I've seen you in practice, man. You a beast. Go out there and just handle your business. I think I had like 2 fumbles my 4 years in Baltimore. And the first one was devastating because it was during a big game, and I think we lost that game too. And my fumble was the reason we lost, but everyone's pointing to me because I only get a couple of plays as a fullback. How dare I make one of those plays a fumble? And Edwin, I was broken. I was about to go walk off a mountain because I felt like I really let the team down. And Edwin, I remember putting his big heavy paw on my shoulder. It was like, hey man, it's never as bad as you think it is, never as good as you think it is. Man, yeah, you did F up today, but it's gonna be, you can erase that by having a better game next week. And so just those little positive moments that no one hears, and it took nothing for him to come over there and speak to me, but it meant a lot to me. That's why I think he's a really solid dude.
Now, obviously, you brought up the comic book. I'm only going to bring this up because, obviously, Kobe Bryant is one of my guys. I love Kobe Bryant to pieces, and he's one of the rare athletes that immediately found success out of his sport. Would you rather have a coaching job in the NFL, or would you rather win some sort of, I don't know, like an Emmy or an Oscar for the comic books? Where would you like to – what would your next 5-year plan be?
Oh, definitely the comic books. Coaching is for the birds. Like, God bless you coaches. God bless for a player who wants to be a coach. Not for me. I don't go third person a lot, but Ovie don't do coaching full time. I'll help out, and I'll assist. Like, I had Jarius Norwood and Michael Jenkins, some of my old teammates, do high school coaching in the area. I go talk to their kids and talk to their running backs and show them some skills back, technique stuff, hands to the side and duck walk. But to have a whole season where you're prepping and game planning and talking to these kids and watching them go the wrong way, and God forbid you actually want to make a career of this and you do everything right, but your coaches mess up on the other side, or your players don't do what they're supposed to do, and you fire me because of what they did on the field when I did my job? Oh, hell no. I don't know how some of these coaches don't strangle their kids when they have perfect plays and the kids are fumbling, which is not the coach's fault. They're throwing an interception, not the coach's fault. Like, if you're not firing me, making me move my whole family because y'all messed up. Oh no, I'm not putting myself in a position to have that happen to me. I've been cut once, twice in the football world. You ain't gonna cut me or fire me for some stuff that I have no control over. Nah, coaching, nah.
Not for Ovie
No.
in the third person.
Ovie don't do coaching.
Ovie don't play that, okay?
Yes, correct.
We are talking to former Ravens and Falcons All-Pro fullback Ovie Mughelli, Ovie Mughelli Foundation, a nonprofit organization empowering youth communities and promoting environmental change. It's a great foundation that Ovie has put his time and his love into it after football. Ovie, one of the questions for one of our fans, he says, John Sugg says, when you told your dad you were going to Wake Forest, did you mention Duke since he wanted you to go to school to be a doctor?
My dad wanted me to go wherever I got a free education. And Duke said no, and I applied. I wanted to go to Duke. I really wanted to go to Duke. Duke said no. NC State said no. Shit, everyone said no. I got one Division I scholarship, and that was from Wake Forest because somebody dropped out. And I went as a tailback, which I quickly realized after having Terrence Williams and Chris Barclay and Morgan Kane and these guys who were real shifty tailbacks. I was everything. I went to a small private school in Charleston. Shout out to Porter High School, but I was like the only black guy on both sides of the football sometimes. So I had these little guys. I'm stiff arming this guy, stiff arming that guy. I had 2,000-3,000 yards. I had 300-yard games, and it wasn't hard, But not my fault. I just played against who they put me up against, and I had a bazillion yards, but that didn't impress any college scouts. So I got one offer, took it, and I made, just like the NFL, I made every college who passed on me pay because I was the #1 fullback going to the draft by USA Today in my senior year, and I was trying to murder these linebackers at Florida State and Clemson, especially because they talked so much trash. I'm like, yeah, you're winning, but I'm going to F you up. That's still going to happen. There's nothing that you can do. Congratulations on the scoreboard. You still got to see me every single gosh darn play, and it's going to be ugly for you. So I took pride in that, just making these boys cry. But that's all I can do.
We got a Florida State football fan on this show.
No, I mean, you won the game, but your linebackers were backing up every time I came at them. And not me just blowing myself up. That's what they were doing.
That was
I
when
made them fear me.
That was actually when they were good.
Yes, they were good back in the day.
Now they stink. Before we let you go, Ovie, I have a couple of questions for you. When you look at the game and how the game has changed from when you played and now how it's become an offensive game in the NFL, are you surprised of the greatness of Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, the quarterbacks that have really taken over the league and really stamped their name to the Hall of Fame? Obviously, Peyton Manning going to the Hall of Fame this year. Are you surprised at the greatness of the quarterback play now than it was in those days? And do you think, my question to you being that you played in the beginning of all of the change of the offense, are you surprised that when you look at the offense ability of some of these quarterbacks in the game, how it's completely changed? Are you surprised that in those times where the game was more open for defensive players, are you surprised that the quarterbacks weren't as prolific as they are now?
No, I mean, they've tailor-made the game, the NFL has, to put butts in seats and to put eyes on that TV and to hit those numbers they've hit because, defense wins championships, but offense sells tickets. And always has been. You want those high-score games. No one's going to be excited about a 6-3, romper that's not, really getting people all jazzed up. You want to see those touchdowns. You want to see the celebrations. You want to see the big explosive plays. And that's why they protect their moneymakers, these quarterbacks. That's why they're making $100, $300, $500 million contracts. You're Patrick Mahomes, because that's what people want to see. And it's an offensive league where I mentioned earlier, these defensive players, I feel bad for them. They expect them to have Matrix-like reflexes when they're trying to tackle people. And if Jim Kelly and Steve Young and Troy Aikman and Joe Montana had the rules that Matt Ryan and Tom Brady has, their numbers would be way up. So I'm not too surprised because this is what they wanted, and they're getting what they wanted because there's some crazy team that think fullback's not even necessary anymore. So God bless them. keep on putting butts in seats. It is exciting to watch as an offensive player, but I think that they're kind of skewing the game a bit.
Now, Ovie, before we let you go, why don't you tell the fans how they can find your foundation, how they can find you on social media, how they can invest time and money into helping you grow your foundation?
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, my Twitter handle is at Ovie Mughelli 34, first name, last name 34, OVIEMUGHELLI 34. And of course, as the universe would have it, our website is down, omfgreen.org, but we'll get that back up. But if anyone wants to potentially get some comic books, support the foundation, learn more, you can hit us up on the foundation email, OMF for Ovie Mughelli Foundation, green@me.com. So that's omfgreen@me.com. Email us, and we'd be happy to help your school out, send some comics over, or work with you to put on one of our green tailgates.
And I want you to send my producer, Speedy, your logo and your website information. We'll have it connected to your logo so people can actually go in and out of our website into your website and donate the time and the money to help grow your foundation.
I appreciate that. We'll do, buddy.
Absolutely. And let's stay in touch. I'd love to get you on the show again. You were a great interview. You had some great insight, and some of the things that you said was absolutely must see, must listen to. You're awesome. Thank you, Ovie.
Thank you, sir. Y'all be good, man. Thank you.
As you guys know, Ovie Mughelli, ex-NFL player, played for the Falcons, played for, obviously, the Ravens, and, yes, a two-time All-Pro player, which he wanted me to absolutely slip it in. Not a two-time second-team All-Pro, first team. He is an unbelievable personality. He really was great.
Hilarious.
He really, the silverback, that was hilarious.
That was so funny. Oh, man.
That was hilarious. I mean, he was straightforward. He nailed on every single question. He didn't beat around the bush. Even the CTE. How many ex-NFL players we talk about CTE is CTE, and they didn't want to answer the question? Right. So I thought he was pretty dead forward, straightforward on everything that he said. It was a sensational interview. It really was. I definitely write to Ovie, tell him thank you, get his information, get his logo, get his website. I'd love to get him on the show again and tell him I would love to have him on the show again. He was really sensational. He really was. Great. But by the way, John Suggs says great personality.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Great interview. Deserves. And by the way, fullbacks deserve a lot of credit for the position that they play and the position that they get beaten up. And by the way, that ball that was dropped by Shepard was not Daniel Jones's fault, by the way.
It was Slade.
Whoever it was, these should have caught the ball. And they've been dropping the ball over and over again tonight, and that's not Daniel Jones's fault. And they're still leading, which I picked the Giants to lose this game. But if the Giants lose this game, it's a catastrophe because they've played pretty well this whole game. Offensively and defensively, they should have a chance to win this game.
I never would have expected them to get 23 points on that defense.
No, and that defense is really not showing up.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I don't know what's going on. The Washington football team, well, a lot of people predicted them to be a top 5, top 6 defense, me being one of them. I thought they were a top 3, top 4 defense. I don't know, man. I am not excited to see what I've seen so far. And Ron Rivera, who is a defensive-minded coach, with all the defensive weapons on that front seven, I have no idea why he's not using blitz packages and trying to get to Daniel Jones. Because Daniel Jones, when he steps into the pocket in this game, he's completely dominated against that defense. A very good defense, by the way. And their offensive, the Giants' offensive lines played pretty well.
They've hung tough. I'll give them a lot of credit.
They played very well, and and Thomas has shut down Chase Young, which he did in college with Georgia. So. Very impressed right now with the New York Giants. It is, what is it? 21
for 27, 236 yards, no interception.
And the game's not over yet. So he's going to get his chance to prove himself. It's 26-10.
Now it's
right?
26-20. Right? Now it's 26-20. I guess the Giants just kicked a field goal while we were talking.
Yeah. So
26 points on this defense that is very talented.
I mean,
that says a
if
lot.
Washington doesn't score a touchdown, they lose the game. And even if they score, they score, they're only up by 1. The Giants are going to have the ball to take the ball down the field and kick a field goal and win the game. So, listen, I think the Giants have played very, very well. They deserve to win this game. And Daniel Jones has played well. Saquon Barkley actually showed up today. Some of the players that really stuck out to me so far in this game that have not caught the ball, Sterling Shepard has dropped the ball twice in this game. What's his name again? Who you guys keep talking?
Kenny Galladay.
Not Kenny Galladay. The other kid.
Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney.
No, the other one. Slayton dropped the ball twice too. He made one good grab and he dropped the ball twice. So I expect right now, if Slayton didn't drop the ball and Shepard didn't drop the ball twice, he didn't have over 300 yards thrown in this game.
Right.
And he's ran the ball, I think, over 60, 70 yards.
Slayton dropped the touchdown, so that would have made the game 30-20 most likely, unless they missed the extra point. So
I mean, Daniel Jones has had a good game against a good defense.
That's not good though.
He's gone, right? You think he's gone? No.
Forced out at the 12 though.
And you want to know something? The one thing that surprised me so far the last 2 weeks with the Giants is, where is Leonard Williams? Okay. Yeah, he got a lot of money this offseason. The Giants paid him, what, $50 million?
Mm-hmm.
He got $50 million. Leonard Williams had a sensational year last year, had 13 sacks. He was a Pro Bowl player. He was a borderline All-Pro player last year.
Right.
And he has not shown up the last 2 weeks. He has not looked good. Okay, so I expect a lot from a guy that gets paid a lot of money. And that happens to be with a lot of ex-Jets, Muhammad Wilkerson being one of them, who got $86 million from the Jets and completely disappear off the face of the earth. Okay, so, and that's a touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
Yeah. And by the way, two passes, 2 throws, and that is not Daniel Jones's fault. Okay, and if the Giants lose this game, it will not be because of Daniel Jones. I hope Daniel Jones takes the ball down the field and wins the game for the Giants, because I'm so tired of listening to Giant fans attack this kid like it's his fault when it's not. I think the kid has proven that he can play in this league. I just wish, just like with Zach Wilson, I don't know what Zach Wilson is, but if the Jets don't put a good offensive line in front of him, we'll never know what he is. The reason why Pat Mahomes became Pat Mahomes is because the Kansas City Chiefs, they put players around him and they put an offensive line that can actually block. Okay? You can't win. Did he miss that?
No, he almost did.
Oh, I thought he missed that.
That was very close.
It looked like he missed it. I think you should watch the replay.
It looped around. It looped around.
Did it?
It was good. It was good. I was hoping he would too, but it just snuck in there.
And you want to know something? Henneke should be the starting quarterback for the rest of the year. You got to see what you have with this kid. If this kid has a good season and he helps his team win the division, then he's your quarterback. What are you making faces for?
No, I'm looking at Adoree Jackson. Like, come on, like you're better than that.
Well, yeah. Again, 2 plays. He took the ball. He took the Washington football team down the field. You cannot win games like that, and that was a touchdown.
Yeah, it was definitely a touchdown.
Well, they're watching the replay.
He made the right play, so I don't know what you're picking on Adoree Jackson for. He tried to knock the ball out of his hands.
He could have jumped to swat the ball initially, but he didn't do that.
Listen, I'm not blaming anything, and listen, I think that the Giants defense has been the biggest surprise so far this year, because they have not shown up.
No,
they haven't. And this is a good defense. This is the defense that everybody expected them to take strides forward this year. So far, I know it's 2 weeks. They've taken strides backwards. They have not looked good, and the offense has looked better. Obviously, they've got better weapons. I mean, Kenny Galladay is better than any wide receiver they had last year. Sterling Shepard actually is catching the ball now. Thank God. He dropped the ball earlier in this game that could have been a touchdown. And obviously, with Saquon Barkley, it will open up holes for some of these guys to actually make plays. So I'd hope as we see the season progresses that the Giants get better and better every single week with a healthy Saquon Barkley.
One could only hope the defense, though, because the Broncos' offense on paper, it's pretty good, but it's not like great. And then Washington's offense on paper, McLaurin's a great receiver, Gibson's a rising running back, but they don't really have much. And it hasn't looked good either way, especially third down and even some big plays now. We thought the secondary would be a lot better than it's been so far, and just hasn't shown it so far.
How about Chicago? Yeah, I mean, Tyler, you watched Chicago Bears last week. They brought Justin Fields in, 3 times?
A couple of times, yeah.
4
Got
times.
a touchdown.
He had a touchdown. He had 10 yards in the game. Why haven't they decided to say, you know what, Andy Dalton isn't the answer. Why don't we bring our kid in? He might save our coach's career as the head coach of the Bears, or maybe he's just a better quarterback, period, that would fit in this scheme. So my question to you, Tyler, is Why haven't they made the move yet? Being that I understand it's going into week 2, and the Chicago Bears did not win last week, but they were in the game. They were in the game at one point of the game, but in the second half they completely fell off. Why haven't they brought in Justin Fields yet?
Well, everything in me says Matt Nagy's a moron, but
I can agree with that.
If I have to give you a answer of depth and magnitude, it's going to have to be because he's not ready. And what I mean by that is he either in practice isn't uncovering the looks, or he's not seeing the field, or there's got to be something, because there's no reason. Or he doesn't know the playbook. There has to be something why they're not doing it.
You think Andy Dalton knows what he's doing? I mean, seriously.
No, but Andy Dalton.
I know he's a pro.
Not only that. And I don't mean this to sound crude, but let's be honest. If Andy Dalton snaps his leg tomorrow, do you think the Chicago Bears long-term care?
No, they don't care.
Right,
No.
they want to protect Justin Fields as much as possible.
But their offense, the strength of what their offense was last week was their offensive line. Their offensive line played pretty well. They played a very good defense.
No,
they stayed together.
Listen, if they could stop Aaron Donald, they'll stop any front seven in football.
They did.
And
Aaron
Montgomery
Donald
rushed for 100 yards.
Did he have a sack?
No.
I don't even think Aaron
so.
Donald had a sack in the game.
I don't think so. I
They
think he
shut
only
him
had
down.
a couple hits, like almost sacks, but I think that was it. And David Montgomery also rushed for 100 yards too, which proves a lot for their offense.
And we could all agree that Aaron Donald is the best defensive lineman in the league.
I think he's the best player of any position.
I mean, we all can agree to that. So
I'm taking Mac, but
you
the
think
minority.
you take Mac over Donald?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I used to agree with you, but not anymore.
No,
after that 2019 season where he had 20 and a half sacks as a 3-4, mostly 3-4 defensive end, that's pretty insane. And
also, every team knows that he is the best player at the line, and they still can't stop him.
Right. He's fast for his position. He's not the biggest guy either, and he's still a strong, a beast of a man. And he's not even. I think he's barely 300 pounds, and he still does everything he does, and he can move all over the place. He's played
What a throw!
3 different defenses.
God. What a throw. He put it in the perfect. He put it in the perfect spot. Yeah, okay. Do it and what? That was a perfect throw. Speedy, was that not a perfect throw? And by the way,
that's a hell of a catch.
He's out of bounds.
Out of bounds. And that was a great throw.
That's a hell of a catch.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it wasn't. It still was an unbelievable throw.
He's out of bounds.
He should have gotten his feet in.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a great throw.
Running 15 miles an hour, try to put your feet down. Yeah, that's
well, every other wide receiver can do it. Antonio Brown does it all the time.
There's maybe 6 guys in the league that would have made that catch.
Oh, come on.
There's more than
Tyler.
6.
There's a lot more.
There's a lot of really good receivers in the league.
There's a handful.
Denzel Mims made a catch like that this past week, and he's not even played one play. He made a catch like that.
Darius Slayton's faster than Denzel Mims.
Really? No, he's not. No, he's not.
Darius Slayton's one of the fastest guys in the NFL.
No, he's not. He's not faster.
No, he's guys in the NFL.
He is not.
Absolutely.
He is not faster than Mims. Go look at his 4. Go look at Mims' 40, and go look at Darius Slayton. He's not even close. Denzel Mims is 6'3".
Not even close.
No, not even
close.
No, Mims ran a 4.38.
I bet you
he ran a 4.38.
I bet you anything they're close.
I guarantee you they're not.
Okay.
Speedy, go look that up, please, because Slayton is not even close to him. Okay, it's a joke. Slayton
might be more quicker, agile at the line of scrimmage, but
no, because I
never want to mention.
I mentioned Mims, and you said he was a lot faster. You don't know what you're talking about. You
never want to mention Denzel Mims' name.
Yeah,
you know why? Doesn't play.
Yeah, Denzel. Because first of all, he lost 20 pounds because he had food poisoning early in the season, or in the off season. What are you talking about?
Oh, Darius Slayton did run a 4.39. Okay, so actually they're right about the same.
Look at that.
Who ran it faster?
So Mims by
the same time.
A millisecond.
If you blinked, you wouldn't even be able to tell me who won.
He still ran it better.
By a point of a second?
You said he was a lot faster. He's not.
You said they weren't even
fine,
close.
Fine. It's still, I was right. He ran it faster.
By a point of a second?
That's still a lot.
You can't even finish your sentence by the time they're done running.
That's still a lot.
I will say Slayton is probably a little quicker agility-wise at the line of scrimmage, like breaking into his route. But I think raw speed still goes to Mims.
Mims is a better all-around player.
Oh, I agree with that too, yeah.
He's a better all-around player. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster, okay? And the reason why he hasn't played is because he doesn't fit right now the Jets scheme. If you haven't heard or you followed what's going on with the Jets,
How can we not follow what goes on with the Jets?
There's really nothing. There's nothing right now in the newspaper.
We cover the Jets.
No, we cover everything. We cover all football. By the way, what is the score of this game? Who has the ball?
Washington got it back. Yeah, Washington got it back because the Giants went 3 and out.
All right, and what is it? 2:22.
2 timeouts.
They
Yeah.
did 3 and out.
Second down. I can't see the thing.
Is it second down?
Yeah, it's second down.
Second and 7.
Okay, 7.
Second and 7.
All right. Yeah. So the Giants would have to obviously get a stop here. Then they can either let it go down to the 2-minute warning, or they can take a timeout before it, depending on what they do.
And by the way, Jeff says Kadarius Toney is fastest. I don't know what that means. What do you mean?
Faster
He ran
than
it
Mims and
faster?
faster than
Did he
Sleep.
run
I
it
think by a
faster?
little bit. Yeah. Again, they were nitpicking in the 4-3 areas.
No,
Oh, interception.
There you go.
Wow.
Who intercepted?
Bradbury.
That was a bad throw.
Oh, that's from a young quarterback that you depend on to make the throw. And he didn't make the throw. He's mad. He knows he screwed up. And now they're going to have to figure out how to get the ball back, let the Giants kick their field goal and get the ball back and bring the ball back down. They still have time.
They still have time. Yes.
I mean, the Giants are going to try to run out the clock, as we all know what they're going to do. They're going to try to kick the field goal. How many timeouts do the Washington football team have?
I didn't see it.
Is it 3?
They have 3 and the Giants have 2.
All right, so they're going to try to make the Washington football team use their timeouts, and they're going to give the ball to Barkley. That's what they're going to do, and try to run out as much clock as they can, and let them try to pull the ball and bring the ball down, to kick a field goal, which I would bet more on. And look at Ron Rivera; he's probably, biting his tongue because he doesn't want to go 0-2 this year.
No. Not to mention the Giants have his former kicker, Graham Gano.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he cares about that.
No, I don't think he does either, but I'm just saying that would be.
How many timeouts does? Yeah, they have 3.
Yeah, they have all 3
and the
timeouts.
Giants
They have
have
all
2.
3 timeouts.
Tyler's right. And Barkley, they're going to run the
Just a
ball.
yard.
They're going to run the ball to Barkley. They still have the 2-minute. So
I think Washington used one now. So.
yeah, they're going to use all of them. They're going to try to use the 2-minute. What I would have done is I would have let it go to 2 minutes.
That's what I thought they were
used
going to do too. Yeah.
Not use the timeout, and then
because
if they get a first down, the game's over.
Not only that, I always say save the timeouts in case they want to maybe sneak up on you and throw the ball as well. So then you save a timeout if there's an incomplete pass too. Snug also says, if Daniel Jones really doesn't care about the Giants, he would help out the Giants secondary, maybe play a little safety. Robbie Anderson makes that catch every time. No, probably not. Kadarius Toney's the fastest, and it doesn't matter who wins because I covered the over.
Eat it. I wasn't going to say the full thing that he said.
I wasn't either.
But Daniel Jones has had a good game, 22 for 31, 249 yards, 1 touchdown. He should have over 300 yards. It was just, people dropping the ball, and that's not his fault, by the way. But I do want to get into baseball, and I want to finish up with some basketball conversation. We didn't really get into any basketball at the end of the show the other day. And basketball preseason starts in 2 weeks? I think it's 2 weeks.
Well, they're a little after hockey. So hockey starts
2
next
weeks.
week. So yeah, probably about
2 weeks. So, but before we do that, I want to get into this whole baseball thing. First of all, what is going on? The Yankees-Baltimore game. The umpire, I heard fined. I think he called. Did he suspend or something? Suspend the game because of the umpire and the play. There was something that came in yesterday. I don't have it up in front of me. Speedy, you're the producer. Look it up. In the 9th inning, something happened with the umpires in the Yankee game, which one of the umpires actually called the game or did something to the umpires of that magnitude. I don't know the whole story. If anybody has it, because Speedy takes forever looking for it.
Yeah, my computer's being.
I'd like to know, but what are you? I'll look it up, Speedy.
Here
What
it
is?
Umpire ejects Orioles ground crew in the 9th inning of a rain delay. Tim Timmons was the umpire.
Why did they do it? Why did he do that?
Kicking them off the field in the final inning. I guess they expected to come out in a rain delay, and Tim Timmons actually ejected all of them from the game. I'm not sure if they have an alternate grounds crew if that's the case. That's a weird one.
By the way, Graham Gano had a very good day so far. He's had 5 field goals in this game. And this, if anything, this works out for Washington not the Giants.
Yeah, they got a lot of time.
They have a lot of time, and they
lot of
kept it under. The Giants went through 3 downs in 11 seconds. Okay.
Yeah,
That's not good.
Going back to the Yankees-Orioles thing, though, the
Yes.
controversy was the Orioles were two outs away from securing the win in the top of the 9th inning, and they also were contemplating. It looks like they were also contemplating doing it for the final 5 outs in the 8th inning, when they were 1 out in the 8th inning, where there was actually a bigger downpour, and they didn't do anything. So there was a whole controversy with that. The grounds crew then came.
Did
out
the
there.
Orioles win yesterday?
I believe so.
And they won today.
They win today?
Yep.
Yeah, the Yankees haven't, and the Yankees are still only 1 game out of
They're in the playoffs.
What?
They're in the playoffs.
Are they?
Yeah, because
They're
Boston's
hosting the
been
Blue
struggling
Jays,
too. The Blue Jays are now the 1, and the Yankees are now the 2.
Well, Boston's the
Toronto
2.
won today?
Oh, Boston's the 2 now.
Boston's
Okay.
the 2. The Yankees are the 3.
No, Toronto's 2. The Yankees are 1.
Oh, I thought Toronto was
That's
1.
what it was
The
this
Yankees were 2.
No. The Yankees are right now 9 games behind over here. If what I'm reading is right.
Well, that's 9 games behind the division.
Speedy. I'm reading both Boston and the
As
Blue
of
Jays
right
are ahead of
now,
them.
the Yankees are out.
Yeah, the Yankees are now at
Because they
half.
lost.
So I guess the Red Sox won today then. Okay.
Yeah, so the Yankees are out by half a game right now, which is still a lot of baseball left. And the Yankees have to play Toronto again, and they got to play. Do they play Boston again? I think they're done with Boston.
I think I won more with Boston.
So
And they play the Rays.
they do at the end of the season, and which the Rays are probably going to sit out players. So the
You
Yankees,
don't know that.
I do, because
You
I
think
think.
the Rays want to see the Yankees? You're nuts.
What do you mean?
The Rays will win that series just to be petty and keep the Yankees out of the playoffs.
I don't think that will
Well,
happen.
they might do that to the Red Sox too.
Yeah.
You might keep out the Red Sox out of the
If
playoffs.
the
So-
Rays win the division hands down and they're the number 1 seed, they're not going to play any of their players. They're going to sit out and let their players heal. Okay.
I'm not
They've had other injury problems
You get
this year
cold-
too,
you get
though.
cold,
So.
and then you might as well just kiss your playoffs goodbye.
But they platoon a lot anyway, though. So I think that if anyone that will be used to it, it'll
Goes
be
back
them.
to lack of pitching. This is what
The
this
Rays
is
don't
what
have a
we're-
lack of pitching.
No, the Yankees. The Yankees lost today because their bullpen's shot and they don't have anybody. So Brian Cashman had to overuse Holmes again, and Holmes blew it in the 9th, and then the Yankees lost in the extra innings, and that's how the Yankees go.
Brian Cashman's not the man.
That we can't beat. That's how. No, Brian Cashman was supposed to bring in pitching, so he didn't. Aaron Boone.
There were no First of all, you're not going to trade away your future
go.
for pitching. Okay,
Here we
well,
go.
look what you're saying. You're not going to just say, okay, you know what? We have a chance to possibly make the playoffs, but we're probably not going to win. So you know what? We're gonna trade away our talent, our future, for a pitcher or two that is not even going to help us get over the hump anyways. They were the hottest team in baseball. They went into a little bit of a slump. They're still a game out of a playoff spot when they were 9 games out of a playoff spot before the All-Star break. They made the trades. Obviously, they've worked. And right now, hey, they're going into a slump. They still have the second best ERA in baseball in the second half of the season. So I don't know what you're talking about with pitching. So you sound like an idiot. And as far as the Yankees are concerned, the Yankees shouldn't even be where they are right now. But they are.
Yeah, you're right.
So
They were
you're not gonna
projected
give
to
Brian
win the
Cashman-
division when the season started. You're right.
A lot of teams are projected to win the division. Cleveland were projected to win the division in the beginning of the season. Are they winning it? No. Cleveland was projected to win the division.
I never saw that either.
They did. They were.
I don't know who you had. I don't
Oakland
know.
was though, and they're not in a spot right now.
No, Oakland's always back and forth with the division with the Astros, and nobody thought the Astros were going to have the season they were. Okay, nobody thought that. Seattle's a borderline playoff team.
I know.
Did anybody think that was going to happen? Nope. This is baseball. Things happen. And the Yankees have been fighting injury after injury all season long, and they're still going to win 90, 95 games. Okay? So, again,
Who's the injury that makes you go, oh, wow, that altered the Yankees season?
what happened?
Who's the injury that makes you go, yeah, that's the reason?
Well,
the Yankees...
here's one. Severino didn't come back this year. I thought
But you knew that going into the year.
No, I thought Severino was going to be back in the second half of the season.
No, everyone's saying August, September at best.
No, they weren't. They were saying July with
No,
Severino.
He had his
yes.
setback pretty early in the season.
Luis
where you
Severino
knew
was
he
supposed to
wasn't
be
gonna come
back early in the second half of the season.
And then he had a setback like a month into the season.
Two setbacks.
Right, but the second one, we all knew.
The initial
by then
report did
anyway.
say All-Star break. I agree with you. I didn't think it was going to happen, but the initial report did say All-Star.
The Yankees ruined his career. He'll never be the same again.
The
So
Yankees
if he
ruined
come-
wait a second. How did the Yankees ruin his career?
He hasn't pitched in 2 years.
All right,
you think
that's-
he's going to
that's
come
the
back
Yankees'
and be the guy?
fault? That's
And
the
he
Yan-
went from being a Cy Young candidate when he was blazing the ball out to, I don't know, number 4 or 5 starter his last 8 starts.
What are you
His
talking
ERA
about?
was about 7. Then his elbow went out.
After his Cy Young year, he played like 8 games and then he was out. And he wasn't 100% healthy. He wasn't 100% healthy. Going into the playoffs when he was pitching in the playoffs, he didn't pitch well because a lot of people, and that's why the Yankees gave him the extension, because they knew he was going to be out a significant amount of time, because they knew he had a shoulder problem. And that's why they got to
back.
And that's why they got a
They
deal
did
on the deal.
not expect him to come back this year.
Dude, he was
Matter
a top
of fact. Didn't you come out and say on this network, don't worry about it. We're getting Kluber and Severino back. Don't go get a starter.
That's right.
So clearly you thought that he'd be back. And that was around July.
I just said that. Did you not hear me? I said
But
Severino
guess what?
was going to be back.
Good plans
in July.
go to wait.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, I did. I
The
said
trade deadline is the last day of July, right or wrong?
yes, and I said July.
When
he
you
would be
said they
back.
should be sellers, right?
Yes,
We'll
I
ignore
did.
all that.
I did.
So then you said don't go
I
get
did.
pitching.
What do you mean
because
ignore
you're
it?
getting
I told
Severino
you
back.
that. I told you
And
that.
you're getting Kluber back.
Okay.
So clearly you thought he'd be back by now.
The same thing.
I
He doesn't
just-
want them to buy pitching because he wanted them to sell.
What I'm trying to tell you is you're not giving up a future. You could have brought in a young guy. Andrew Heaney was nothing. You couldn't have given up those prospects to go get, I don't know, a reliever of some kind, any kind. No.
I'm watching. I'm seeing what's
I
going
know.
on
We're
in
all
this
watching
game.
the football game.
No, I want to see what's going on in the game. And where are they got to get
48-yard line.
What's
first down.
First down.
39 seconds, 1 timeout.
Oh, they got enough
situation
time
right
to get
now.
this.
And their kicker's pretty good.
They have 1 timeout.
They got 1 timeout.
Does that catch? Nope. He dropped it.
They tried the same play they did. They got the big play on the last drive. Didn't work this time.
I think that it's not because of the pitching why the Yankees aren't winning. They're not hitting in timely hitting. It's facts. They're striking out a lot. Right now, in the last 10 games, the Yankees have struck out more than 2 teams in the major leagues. It is not the Yankees pitching on why they're losing. They're not hitting in timely hitting. They had a chance to beat the Mets. They didn't beat the Mets. They had a chance to beat Baltimore the other day. They couldn't beat Baltimore.
They can't beat Baltimore.
This is what happens.
It's in their head.
It
I
is in their
guess.
head,
Yeah.
and they've had problems. I'll call a timeout. I don't know why I'd call a time. They're not going to call a timeout. This is
Yeah,
Ron.
they did.
I was about to say this is Ron Rivera. He does this all. He did this with Carolina. He had problems calling
Riverboat
timeouts.
Ron.
I mean, he's had problems like that for years.
I will
calling
say, though,
timeouts.
that is also a terrible play call.
Why? Why do you say that?
Yeah, middle of the field.
Well, obviously, the Giants are not giving anything to look at. The Giants have a very good secondary.
Well,
as
they
you
do.
can see.
They do.
So what are they going to do, Speedy? They got 1 great wide receiver, and the rest
at least throw
are
it
second
short
tier.
outside. Then
They have two number 1 corners right now that can play as a number 1 on any team. Any team. Okay, so how do you expect it to be bad? They got a completion. They need to get closer so they can make a play, so they can kick a field goal. I don't know what you're talking about.
59-yard field goal from there.
And I think they're going to try to push it. What is it? 3rd down?
It's 3rd down. I think at 5. I want to say.
Well, that's
timeout
for the Giants.
They called a timeout. They probably saw something.
Yep.
But
it would be a 59-yard field goal from the current
and which is
spots.
makeable.
Yeah, their kicker is good, Hopkins.
I think they need to get closer.
58's not guaranteed for anybody.
I think they need to get at least 10 more yards or 8 more yards so it can be closer. 52 yards makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, 52 yards is probably like an average.
They
like,
also don't want to give the
where-
Giants any time to put the ball down the field either. So I think the Giants can. I think the Giants should win this game. I honestly, it doesn't bode well unless the Washington football team throws a great pass down the field for like 19, 18 yards. I think the Giants win this game.
Yeah, if they get a first down, they're pretty well situated because then the field goal is 55 yards from there, which is that looks like where they're going to go. Yep, looks like right. They got extra
But you
too, so
knew
it's
it
like
was gonna be
52
Humphries
yards.
was the
It's still a deep throw. I mean,
it was what they had to do.
It's still a 50-yard kick. I mean,
yeah, which is still probably average, like 50-50 of what is made across the league. Probably a little more now because the kickers have done better with longer.
That was actually a really good throw.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so that's not anybody's fault. The Giants had him defensively. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
What?
I am every time now. I feel your senses. That's a good throw.
That was a good throw.
No, I'm not denying. I think Wow.
That was a dumb play.
That was a terrible
in the middle of the field. I don't know why they're doing that.
Well,
yeah, they got to
make
spike
it
it now.
reasonable,
So
they're
this
going to
is
spike it. They're going to kick a field goal, and they're going to win the football game.
47 yards from here.
That's makeable. That's beyond makeable. That's like 90%.
Who's calling? Is somebody calling a timeout? What
No,
the
he
hell's
spiked
going
the
on?
ball.
No, they didn't.
Nobody has a timeout.
Nobody was spiking the ball. What's
Unless
going
it's
on?
a referee time. Oh, maybe they're reviewing it. Maybe they didn't think it was a catch.
That was a catch.
It looked like it to me. Yeah, that's what they're reviewing right
I don't know
now.
what the hell they're talking.
I thought it was a catch too.
That was a catch. That's a catch. That was a great catch. That was a great throw.
Yeah, it's a catch.
What are you laughing at?
Because you keep saying it.
That was a great
That
throw.
was a tight window throw. That was good.
That was a great throw. What are you laughing
I don't
at?
know. Yeah, I don't know why you're trying to criticize.
It's not criticism. It's just hysterical. That
If I see it to be a great throw, I'm going to say it's a great throw, Tyler.
But no one knows what you're watching.
I'm watching the game, the same game you're watching.
I know what you're watching, but the people at home don't know what we're watching.
I'm watching.
We've been analyzing Giants and
Ladies
Washington
and gentlemen,
football
we
team
are
players.
watching the Giants and Washington football team right now with 9 seconds left, and Henneke threw an unbelievable pass, okay? Right through the Bradbury's hands right into his wide receivers. Does that make sense to you? Did I help you on that, Tyler, that you're making and cracking jokes?
It was the greatest 7-yard throw you'll ever see.
I never said that.
No, I think he's mocking what Jeff said yesterday.
I'm not saying that. I don't know what they're doing. I
They're
don't know why
spiking the ball now. Probably maybe ticking it to 5 seconds or something.
Well,
like
yeah,
that, 4
because they
seconds.
stop the clock.
'Cause
It's a live clock. You're going to spike the
Are
ball.
they running a play? It looks like
They're
running
not.
a play.
They're going to spike the ball.
No, they have to spike it. Yeah, okay.
They're
They
spike
lined
the
up like they were
ball.
running a play.
This is not going to be an easy kick.
It is. Yeah, it looks like 47 yards.
This is not going to be an easy kick.
I don't know. Ron Rivera just absolutely stole this game for the Giants.
I wouldn't say that. I think the Giants. I still think the Giants could win this game. I really do. It's a field goal kick, and nobody's going to call a timeout because there's no timeouts.
So you have to rely on a lateral play or
Yeah.
kickoffs.
And I don't trust that this is going to go through. Okay. And you want to know something?
Hopkins, if this goes anywhere but middle, you blame Errol Marks.
Nope, he missed it.
He missed. Wide right.
Told you.
Errol Marks is a jinx.
Jinx. I'm the one who told you he was going to miss it. What are you
Right,
talking
that's
about?
literally what a jinx is.
No, it isn't.
Oh,
I
no, wait.
called
No,
it.
there's a flag. We're not done yet. Never mind.
Giants luck bites again. That's hysterical.
Hopefully, somebody offsides.
Oh.
Great play by the Giants. He'll miss it again.
If that happens, he's a jinx.
Why am I
a jinx? I'm a Giants fan. I want them to win. I'll embrace it in this case.
They're going to probably go offsides again because they're going to try to put pressure.
Oh, they're going to be the Steelers 3
Yeah.
times.
Remember that?
Against the Chargers in 2018.
man.
Oh, my God. It was like, it's something the Chargers would do to themselves, and the Steelers did it to them. The kicker missed it twice. I think the second one, they blocked one of them. But I think TJ Watt was even one of the guys that was offsides, too.
Do you guys think Joe Burrows is for real, by the way?
Yes. I do, because I think I just need to see a game back for him with the injury. He had some mobility in this game against the Vikings.
Because I wanted to
spread
get
the
into
ball.
baseball, but it seems like nobody's interested in getting into the baseball conversation. So
Spread the ball around nicely in that game, and Jamar Chase looked very good too. All right, let's see the second kick.
he missed it.
No,
He almost spun right out. Did you see that? It looked like it was going to spin right out.
Yeah, it did.
Oh my God. Well, lucky you know what.
Well, now we'll have to find out who was offsides.
That'll be interesting. Because honestly, the Giants deserve to win this game. I believe the Washington football team, for a team that was supposed to have an elite defense, did not look good.
No, they did not.
They did not look good.
By the way, we got Jeff for round 2.
What's going on, Jeff?
All right, Jeff, who was the player that was offsides? Who was the player that was offsides?
Lawrence.
Lawrence
in the middle.
Damn.
Giants fans can suck a dick.
Dexter Lawrence of all
Looked like it was
people.
going to spin out, and then it just stopped. It's crazy. It really is. What do you think, Jeff? Looking at some of these young
I think Daniel Jones can't win a game.
I know he's messing around. He's screwing around. But Joe Burrows, do you think he's for real?
Yeah, he's a good player.
I'm being serious because he did look he at certain parts of the game last week. He looked really good. In certain parts of the game, he didn't look good. Especially,
Dude, he's a young quarterback.
I understand
in his
that.
second season.
I understand.
He's done really well. Name it. Listen, I hate to use this as like the reference, right? Because you go, oh, Homer. Tom Brady didn't look very good his first few seasons.
No,
Tom Brady had a shortened playbook, could only run like 6 or 7 plays. They dumbed it down. Joe Burrow's doing a whole lot more than some of these other dudes did. You know, like, give them some time. Allow these people to grow a little bit before you tear everybody
I'm not
apart.
tearing anybody apart. What are you talking about? I just asked you, do you think Joe Burrows is for real? Do you think Justin Fields should start this coming week?
No.
Why not?
No. I think quarterbacks specifically are better when you allow them time to watch and learn.
Okay. So Daniel Jones. We've watched Daniel Jones tonight, and I'm not saying this because you like Daniel Jones. Do you think?
I do like Daniel Jones.
No, we know you do. Do you think Daniel Jones is a quality quarterback that the Giants can build with?
100%. 100.
Why do Giant fans can't stand him? That's what I want to know.
Because he's not lighting the world on fire.
He's not flashy.
He's not Patrick Mahomes, or we want to have the best guy. Or whatever.
But either
I don't
was
think
Eli
anyone
Manning.
expected him to be Patrick Mahomes.
Either was
Dude,
Eli
the
Manning.
Giants lost tonight not because of Daniel Jones. They lost because of Galladay, Slayton, and now specifically Dexter Lawrence.
And their secondary not doing well either, except for Bradbury. Bradbury, the great interception.
Right, but you can blame the secondary all you want, but they came up with the big play when they needed it, right?
Yeah, Bradbury had an incredible interception. That was a fantastic play.
And now, by the way, it was terrible
by
play
the way,
calling.
Heineke's the only one that threw an interception.
Yes, and by the way, it was terrible play calling because they were on their 20 or 19 or something like that, and they ran the ball 3 times, and they only got 11 seconds off the clock. They gave them too much time.
That is what it is, because you're trying to just run plays to get the clock
I
down
understand
or whatever,
that.
Like,
Get the first down, and the game would have been over. It
right,
you can still
exactly.
run outside, though. You don't have to only run inside.
was terrible play calling.
At least try
right,
one
but the
outside.
further you run outside, you run the risk of having someone push you out of bounds, and then you don't need to burn a timeout.
Yeah, but
First of
you're
all-
still trying to get the first down first, though, because that's going to run more plays as it is. So I'd rather have them get the first down, get pushed out of bounds, then you get 3 more plays, then you can make them churn their timeouts more.
Right, but
That'll
you're
be
not
more combined
guaranteed that
plays.
he's going to run for a first down if you go outside, while you
I know
still
that.
run the risk of not having them burn timeouts.
I know that, but just being that they already failed twice inside, why not try outside on 3rd down just to change it up to try to at least get the first down?
Listen, I understand. Maybe the play calling was a little too vanilla, but the fact still remains they didn't lose this game because of Danny Dimes tonight. They didn't.
No, they didn't.
No, I think Danny Dimes played well.
He played wonderful football
against a very good defense.
Against a very good defense, and if he didn't have all those drops, he throws for 300 plus. He had a running touchdown called back from a hold on his wide receivers.
Right.
He had a touchdown dropped by Slayton in the end zone. Like, what more can he do? And how much less help can these receivers give him?
Snug says, hail to the Washington team. Earl, thank you for jinxing the Giants and making my parlay come through.
No, you're welcome.
And Ben says, Favre's first completed pass was to himself, and he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Jones will do well going forward. I'm pretty sure Favre had 2 of them, too. 2 passes to himself, if I remember correctly.
And not for nothing, you're watching the growth right before you. People go, oh, he stinks, oh, he stinks. He had nothing to work with these last couple of seasons. Now that he has a little more, not that it's great, he's doing better.
I think he's looked good. I think he's looked good.
What if Slayton doesn't drop? What if Galladay doesn't drop that slant? That slant puts them on the 2. They don't kick a field goal. They get another touchdown there. What if Slayton doesn't drop it? That's another touchdown. What if it wasn't for the hold? That's another touchdown.
But Jeff, all the Giant fans will say they weren't good passes. Meanwhile, they were perfect passes.
They were perfect passes.
So, I mean, Giant fans just don't like, for some reason, they just don't like Daniel Jones. And they don't think he's Justin Herbert-esque, or who is.
He's not.
Nobody said that he is, but who's to say that he can't be? Who's to say he can't be?
Have you seen it yet?
I've seen that Daniel Jones.
Have you seen him do anything that Herbert's done?
What are you talking about?
Have you seen him do anything that Herbert's done?
He would have thrown 350 yards today.
Have you seen him do?
What did Justin Herbert do this year in week 1? What did he do?
Won a football game?
Won a football game against
He
who?
won a football
Against
game
who?
Against the Washington Redskins.
Okay.
Or the Washington football team.
He also has a much better team that he's playing with, right?
A much
he's
better
1-0.
team. Yeah, but much better team. And by the way, he played just as well as Justin Herbert did.
Maybe he did.
Yes, he did.
But he also sucked week
what
one.
if Daniel Jones this year has Rashawn Slater on his side? That's
Justin
certainly
Herbert got
helping
30
Herbert.
fumbles?
They could have drafted Rashawn Slater, but they traded back.
You rest your case to what? What do you rest?
What
I
do
don't
you
want
mean?
to. I have
Daniel
no idea what
Jones
you're resting.
looked awful against Denver. Did he or did he not?
He for 236 yards.
Yes or no?
He dropped the ball once. He didn't look awful. There were a lot of other quarterbacks that looked worse than him.
Who?
What do you mean who? You want me
Name
to go
one
in?
quarterback that looked worse than him.
What are you talking about? Go to last week's quarterback.
Herbert had-
great last
started
week.
quarterbacks. Go
Herbert
to all
had
the starting quarterbacks.
337 yards and a touchdown and 1 interception.
And by the way, if those two guys caught the ball, he would have 350 yards.
Today.
Yes, today. Yes.
But you're
Gets the
ignoring
same
3
team.
years.
What are you 3 years? Justin
Yes,
Herbert's
Justin
only
Herbert's
1 year.
1 year.
Guess
1
what?
year.
But I understand that. But Herbert's 1 year has been better than anything Daniel Jones
Look
has
at
done.
the players he's played with, Keenan Allen, all these other guys that he's played with. Yeah, has Daniel Jones played with anybody as good as Keenan Allen?
Negative.
Say Saquon Barkley.
Never. Saquon Barkley?
Saquon
He hasn't
Barkley.
played with
He hasn't
Saquon.
barely played with him.
He hasn't played with Saquon. What do you keep bringing up Saquon for? He's
the
barely
best player
played
on the team.
Yep. And he's barely played.
Yes,
with
he's
Daniel
barely
Jones.
played with Daniel Jones.
With Daniel Jones, he's barely played
I
with him.
understand that he's barely
Amazing Saquon Barkley. He had a whole 28 yards rushing last week.
Yeah,
Oh, he's
that's
so
Daniel
good.
Jones'
on
fault.
10 carries.
That's Daniel Jones' fault, by the way.
Oh my God!
How
What-
many-
What is with your love fest with Daniel Jones?
There is no
he's
love
one
fest.
of your favorites.
No, he's not.
Oh well,
But
that's
I
what we
want
like
to
do.
prove to Giant fans that he's not as bad as they think he is.
Well, the Yankees won yesterday, by the way.
What did hold on one second. What did Daniel Jones run today as far as running yards?
Oh, he had to have had 87,
95 yards.
rushing.
He had 95 yards running.
Yep.
Okay, I bet you he ran more than your great Barkley. I bet you had more running
Oh,
yards
yeah.
than Barkley.
Definitely does.
Okay,
And
what does that tell you?
95 yards rushing is 115 with a touchdown if it wasn't for a phantom horrible hold call.
Yeah, Saquon
I
had 57.
understand he has good games. La T freaking da. That's fantastic. With the number 6 pick, I don't want you to have good games. I want you to have seasons. I want you to have weeks. Hell, give me a month. Do not come with me at, week 2 at 21, he was great. Week 15,
Did
he
Justin
was great.
Herbert?
Week 4, he was
Did
great.
Justin Herbert get his team into the playoffs last year?
Are they projected to get in the playoffs
Did
this
they
year?
get into the playoffs last year?
No,
okay.
they didn't.
All
Daniel
right.
Jones ever
All right.
gets close to the
All right.
playoffs?
That's what happens when you play for the least clutch team in
All right.
football.
Right.
That has
So
nothing to
here's
do
my-
with it.
here's
That
my
has nothing to
question
do
to
with it.
you
What are you
since you care
giggling
about
about?
playoffs.
That has nothing to do with it. He had a more talented team than Daniel Jones has
Farmer.
had for 2
Chargers
years.
are a top 10 roster in the NFL.
And Justin Herbert couldn't get his team in the playoffs.
Were they projected to get in the playoffs after they drafted him?
That's not my
Absolutely
question.
not.
That's not my
Are
question.
they projected to get in
If
this
you
year?
make it seem
As a
like
wild
he's
card, they
so
could be.
great.
Okay, then. Are
You
the
make it
Giants
seem-
projected to get in?
Yes, actually, there were
So
a lot of people picked the Giants to make the playoffs. A lot of people.
Who?
Now, what do you mean, who?
Name one person.
CBS Sports picked them to make the playoffs and win the division.
To win the division.
The division stinks.
That division is awful.
It
But
stinks.
I have heard no one pick the Giants
Really?
anywhere to win anything.
I think the Giants are the best overall, all-around team in that division. The best when it comes to
that's
defense,
ridiculous.
offense. No, with
the best
all
team
around.
in that division is 0-2.
Really? Who?
The Giants. You just said they're the best team in that division.
That's right.
They are 0-2.
That doesn't make them not the best team in that division. Why? Because they're 0-2. That doesn't mean that they're not good.
That means
how
that they're worse
about
than the
your
Washington
wide
football
receivers?
team.
Your Darius Slayton actually catch the ball.
That's
He's
great.
great.
He is
great.
good.
Did you see that wonderful catch? Yeah, I saw the wonderful drops he had too, which cost him the game.
All great receivers drop them.
Great receivers.
Yeah, I'm not
This
saying
guy-
he's great.
this
I'm
guy
not
is
saying
so
he's
fine.
great.
Give me a
What I'm
break.
saying is great receivers drop the ball
Give
too.
me a
So,
break.
whatever.
You got to be able to catch a ball without a defender within 30 yards of you.
Right.
He was wide open. I understand. I am not making any excuses. It was a goodly thrown ball.
Yeah.
We got new commenter, Bill Waters, in the comments section saying Jason Garrett gotta go.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So that's Jason Garrett's fault because, by the way,
Yeah,
just so
to
everybody
move
knows,
8 yards in 11 seconds. Yeah,
who
that's
is
Jason
the
Garrett's
coach
fault.
of the team?
Joe Judge.
And Joe
You're
Judge.
blaming Joe Judge?
Where does the play calling go through before the call is completely
Jason
called?
Garrett. That's
It
why
go-
they
Jason
call it Jason
Garrett
Garrett.
has to be approved by Joe Judge. That's what a head coach does, right? Okay, so don't blame it all on Jason Garrett. Joe Judge was the one that was sitting there and telling him
The
to run the
reason
ball.
we're going to blame Jason Garrett is
Come
because
on,
we
man.
single-handedly saw Jason Garrett
Come
for
on,
years
man.
ruin a really good football team in the Dallas Cowboys.
Really?
That's why we're going to blame Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, as a Giants fans, loved him in Dallas.
Can I just make a
Cowboys
reference?
love him now.
Yeah.
Can I just make a reference to the interview you just did? Seriously, because I think it's more pertinent. It's more pertinent now than any other time in the show.
Go ahead.
Your homeboy Ovie, he just goes, I don't want to coach because I don't want to lose my job because you can't make plays. Is it Jason Garrett's fault that Kenny Golladay and Darius Slayton can't catch?
Is it Jason Garrett's fault? He moved 5 yards in 11 seconds? Yes, it is.
That's great. The play calling otherwise won them the
What's
game.
the stereotype?
Barkley could be better. Barkley could be better.
All right, here we go. IQs. What is the most stereotypical package to run out of when you're trying to kill the clock?
Let's see.
Right up the goop.
What is
right up the shoot? And that's what he did twice.
Let's see what the second coming
and the
of
third route.
second coming.
Even if Shepard catches the ball, it's still not a first down.
Let's see what the second coming of Barry Sanders did in the last 2 games. Let's see that. Because Barry Sanders, even with the bad teams he's had, has run the ball a hell of a lot better than Barkley.
After a torn ACL?
Yeah.
It's hard to
After a torn ACL, Barry Sanders ran better than that.
There's your excuse, your other
What?
excuse. He is not anywhere
They're
close.
slowing
He's
him down.
not anywhere close. He's not anywhere close.
All I know is I say one statement and this whole network goes into shit. Watch.
It's fine to pick on the play
Watch
calling
this.
for that
I bet
last
you he
series.
bugs out. If Saquon was a Jet, this would never even be brought up.
Speedy, and I interviewed. By the way, I'm sorry, Jeff. Give me 1 second.
I know. He grew up a
Speedy,
Jets fan.
did I not interview Saquon Barkley and his father 2 weeks before the draft? I did. What did I tell you when he got drafted? I wanted the Jets. I wanted him away. Even if the Jets had a chance, I did not want him.
I know you didn't want
Barkley.
him. That's not what I said. If the Jets said, let's say Darnold goes 2 and they didn't love anyone else and they drafted Saquon.
I
and then
wouldn't
he
have
tore
liked
his ACL.
I wouldn't have liked it.
I'm
I would
not
have been
telling you.
upset.
Right, I get that. But right now, you'd be saying, give him a few weeks, give him time to
Really?
get back. He'll
Really?
still be great. Of course.
Really? Because the Jets drafted Pirine, and I can't stand him. I liked him when they
Saquon's
drafted
not
him.
anywhere close to him.
That's not the point. I pick on the Jets all the time. And by the way, Michael Carter, who everybody loves so much, he looked terrible in his first game. And I picked on him week 1. So you don't know what you're talking about.
I know what I'm
Why
talking
is it always that the Jets? You bring up the Jets. No, I don't defend the Jets.
If Saquon
I
was
picked on the
wearing
Jets.
green and white,
Who did I pick to win this week? Who did I pick to win?
the Patriots.
Okay, who did I pick last week, Speedy?
The Jets.
I picked the Jets. That's
To
right.
beat the
I did.
Panthers.
Yes, I did. That's the only team I picked out of all the next 5 games. That's the only team I picked the Jets to win. They're not going
I
to
don't
win
know their
in the
schedule,
next
but
5
I'm
games.
sure they
I
might not.
guarantee
I don't
you
know
they're
their
not.
schedule
I
off the top of my
guarantee
head.
you they're not.
Maybe they will, maybe they won't.
They're
I don't
not.
really care.
They're
Doesn't
not.
affect my life in the slightest iota.
So don't say that I picked stick up for the Jets. I don't.
That's not what I said.
Yeah.
I said if Saquon was coming back off an ACL, you wouldn't be, let's see what he did.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, they're rushing him in. They're not rushing him in. They're taking their
Really?
time
Okay.
because they want to
You
preserve
know
him.
me. You know me.
I do know you.
No, that's
That's
totally
why I'm
wrong.
saying this.
That's totally wrong. And you're just saying it and sticking it out of you because you want to prove that you think that you're right when you're
I know
wrong.
I'm right.
You're wrong.
The Giants are.
You're wrong. Justin
waiting.
Herbert playing this game. They win.
Yes.
You're on drugs. Get out of here.
What do you mean
like-
I'm on drugs?
Yeah, you're on
Herbert.
drugs.
Justin Herbert was.
Justin Herbert. I just told you that
They lost by a point.
I just told
Yeah,
you.
Justin
at
Herbert's
a
lost
point.
those games before too.
I just
Least
told
clutch
you
team in football.
Daniel Jones had a better game this week than Justin Herbert against the same team, and you're telling me Justin Herbert would have helped them win?
Yes.
Get out of here. You're
Justin Herbert.
talking
loses-
stupid.
Justin Herbert
You're
lost
talking
those games
stupid.
all the time last year
You're
too.
talking
And he
stupid.
plays for the least clutch team in football.
That's not his fault. He made great throws.
Sounds
I didn't
stupid.
say it was all
the
his
thing,
fault.
the
No, I
thing
never said
about
that.
it, though, is the real thing about it is it's fine to pick on the play calling for that last series, and I understand that. That's fine. But it never even gets that far because the play calling was perfect, and if players had made plays, it doesn't even get that far. You don't even need it.
Great. That's fantastic. And you're finally right for once. But unfortunately, we live in the world of what is, what couldn't be. So what is you had the ball and about the red zone when you got the ball given to you with a bow on it, and you moved the ball 5 yards and you only killed 11 seconds. Matter of fact, you didn't even use up 11 seconds. You probably used about 10 because the 2-minute warning, you just got the ball out already.
They call timeout. So
You could
Right.
blame.
So
you could
whatever.
blame. You could blame your great Joe Judge on that because he's the coach.
Well,
that's all I'm going to say about
Jason
that.
Garrett's
But
in charge of the
the play
offense,
calling
so
was
I'm gonna
great
blame
all night until
Jason
then,
Garrett.
though.
Joe
The play
Judge
calling
helped
was
build a
great all
top
night
10
until
defense
that.
last year. So I'm not blaming Joe Judge.
Jeff, you know what's so funny is that Giant fans, they hate Daniel Jones, so they're going to take shots at Daniel Jones.
Who's taking a shot at Daniel Jones?
They hate Garrett, so
I
they're
haven't
going to
said
take
Daniel Jones' name in about an hour and a half. You're the only one saying Daniel
What did you
Jones'
say in the
name.
beginning of the show?
2 hours ago?
What did you say?
2 hours
What
and
did you
58
say?
minutes ago, I said Daniel Jones should get the hell out of New York. And guess what, pal? At the end of the year, I'm going to come back on this damn show and say it again.
Good.
He sucks.
Good.
But you don't know good quarterbacks either.
Yeah.
Sam
I mean,
Darnold.
he was
you
really
do?
good tonight.
And
What?
you
think
do?
he sucked, but he was
Zach
really
Wilson?
good tonight.
Well, compare Zach Wilson
All
in 3 years.
You
too.
do. You do, too.
What?
Right? You know what good
I
quarterbacks
know
are?
Justin Herbert's a
Yeah.
hell of a lot better than Daniel Jones.
And you think Justin Herbert playing in this game would have helped them win?
They lost by a
Get
freaking
outta
point.
here.
One's
Get
a
outta
Pro
here.
Bowler,
Tyler,
one's a middle of the tier at best.
Tyler,
you're
you sound like an idiot.
arguing over something that you're never going to be able to prove.
Exactly.
You need to look at.
Well, here's the
Right,
difference.
you need to.
You
you
can't
need
know
to look
that
at
either.
What
Then.
is?
What the hell's
You
the
look
point of asking the question?
They played against
Right,
the same team last week, did they not?
And Herbert won, did he not?
Herbert won.
All
That's
right,
right. That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
I mean,
Was it
all
because
They
of
also
Justin
won the
Herbert?
game 20-16. It wasn't a
right,
high
and the
scoring game.
Giants lost by
Herbert
a
played
point.
well, but it wasn't the only reason they won.
Who played better,
You need
Justin
to live in
Herbert,
reality.
Justin
though. The
Herbert,
reality is
or Daniel Jones?
was
I would say
good.
Herbert played better, but not by much.
No, he didn't.
Not by
If you
much.
look at the numbers,
Not by much.
Does it make up a point?
If you look
All
at the
right,
numbers,
Not
no,
by,
he
it
didn't.
doesn't make up a point because the defense
Not
lost
by
the game,
much
not the
is not a point.
offense.
Okay, Daniel Jones ran for 95 yards and a touchdown. Okay, did he not? Yes, he did. He threw for 200 and what was this? 250, 70,
236 yards.
236 yards. Which
No, but must have had more than that.
no, he I think he had more than 236 yards.
249. Okay.
249 yards. He would have had over 330 yards in that game and less throws. His completion percentage was better than Justin Herbert's. He had the better day. He had the better game. So I don't know what makes you think that Justin Herbert playing for the Giants would have made it differently. It wouldn't have. Because they can't
And
get the ball.
that pass to Galladay was the pass to Galladay was a perfect pass.
Beautiful.
Galladay dropped like a perfect pass that gets them down to the two. Converts the first down because I think that was a third down play.
Yeah.
Would have converted the first down. They wouldn't have kicked the field goal. That's 4 more points right there. That's not on Daniel Jones.
No.
It's 7 more points if idiot Slayton can catch. And it's another 7 points if they don't call a phantom hold because Daniel Jones ran that ball 70 yards, 68 yards into the end zone.
And actually didn't trip on his own feet.
So Herbert threw for 337 yards.
Yep.
Okay.
31 of 47.
Mm-hmm. Better completion
literally would
percentage?
have been
Daniel
the same.
Jones.
I don't know. I gave you.
Daniel Jones had a better completion percentage.
This game was lost
had a better
on
completion
drop
percentage.
passes and defense,
I
not and an offside call.
Stand what you're saying. I don't know why you two only say the same sentence over and over again as if that's the only message to say here. They lost by, I say it again, a point.
Jeff.
1 point.
Quarterback.
If you take a Pro Bowl quarterback on this team and you say, ta-da, you don't get a point more?
Justin Herbert, just so you know, Justin Herbert had a 66% completion percentage. Daniel Jones had almost 70%. 337 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception with an 85.2% quarterback rating. Daniel Jones had 102 today. It wouldn't have made a difference. Justin Herbert there, they would have lost. As a matter of fact, Daniel Jones played better than Justin Herbert did last week against the same team. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Are the Chargers going to go 2-0-2? Hello?
I think the more important thing, too, is Daniel Jones is really showing growth, too, right?
Absolutely.
Like, he's getting better.
Absolutely.
He's getting better.
No one said he's not getting better. The point is he needs everything to go right for him.
And Justin Herbert.
The Giants are not doing it. What are you talking about? They were a top 7 team in the draft last year,
Why?
and they're projected to go to the playoffs now.
Okay, so
They were 14.
They have 2 wide receivers that are in the top 100 in the league.
took
They have
13.
one that's in the top 10 in the league. Okay, do the Giants have a top 10?
Top 10 what?
Top 10 wide receiver. Keenan Allen is a top 10 wide receiver. Absolutely.
Borderline okay.
Borderline what? He is.
borderline top 10.
He is a top 10.
And as of right now, they also have a better running back.
Oh, absolutely better running back. Absolutely.
As
better
of right
running
now,
back.
Barkley can be better. Barkley can be better, but I'm just saying, as of
I'm
right
not
now,
arguing
Austin
that.
Eckler's better.
Upside is Barkley, but right now we can give it to Eckler, sure.
They're a better team. And they have, and obviously with a better team, better offensive line, way better offensive line, what are you going to do? You put Daniel Jones on that team, they're right now 1-0. They're 1-0 right now. The Chargers. Why?
That's fine.
Why?
That's fine.
I mean, he can run. He
We're
can
not-
throw.
Yeah, he can fumble.
Yeah, he can
He
fumble.
can
Did he fumble
turn over-
tonight?
What?
Did he fumble tonight?
No, Errol,
Did he throw an
the one
interception?
game you're defending him on, he didn't fumble.
I stick up for Daniel Jones all the time because I think Giant fans are too hard on him. Too hard on him, yes.
He got the job because Eli Manning said, I think that this guy should be your draft pick. Okay, Eli.
First of all, it was the whole Eli and the whole Manning family. One. Two, Gettleman actually had a private pro day and said he made every single throw to a T.
Because Dave Gettleman's done an excellent job.
Dave Gettleman, and I've taken shots at Dave Gettleman. If you look at his drafts with Carolina and with the Giants, they're pretty good drafts. They're pretty good drafts.
Okay.
They are. They're pretty good.
All right.
We actually went back and we looked at them. They're pretty good drafts.
Okay.
He's drafted pretty well. The problem with Dave Gettleman is
You
bringing
don't
in
even
free
like
agents.
his first draft.
What are you talking about?
You said they should
No,
have drafted Saquon.
I agree. I
so
don't.
that's his first draft as a Giant.
All
you
right.
said no.
But a lot of Giant fans loved it. I didn't.
I didn't. One defending his drafts.
I said I defend his drafts. I think he evaluates
His most
talent.
important pick to date. You say he didn't get wrong.
What are you talking about?
He got it wrong. You said
His
most important draft pick. He got wrong.
I think he got it right with Daniel Jones. I do. And I'm going to say it again and again
10
and
years
again.
from now,
fine,
we'll see.
And you know what the Giants are going to do? They're going to make a valuable mistake because if they don't, they don't put players around him to succeed. He'll go somewhere else and succeed. You put him right now with the Patriots. You put him right now with Patriots. Who do you think the Patriots would take right now? Mac Jones or Daniel Jones?
Mac Jones.
No, they wouldn't.
Jeff, who would you take?
No, they wouldn't.
Probably Daniel.
Bill Belichick will absolutely take Mac Jones.
I guarantee
he could have
you-
traded up for Daniel Jones. He didn't.
Jeff will be the first one to buy a Danny Dimes jersey if he was a Patriot.
No, flip a coin there, really, because I think it's a bad comparison, right? Because Belichick is just really particular on who plays quarterback for him. You know what I mean? Like, he really is. Like, how does he pick Brian Hoyer as Cam Newton's backup and not Jarrett Stidham, who drafted? Seems weird.
Yeah, but
Brian Hoyer can't even play in the
Stidham didn't even win. He had a chance to win the job a year ago, and he couldn't win it. You know?
Right, yeah. So, I mean, he's just particular about who he plays. So I think it's a bad comparison. I think it's just terrible to go, oh, this person would do better than this one, right? Like, it's living in a fairy tale land, right? The fact of the matter
Well,
is
there's a lot of fairy tales.
Daniel Jones hasn't been great up until this point. But from what I see a lot of growth. I see that he's getting better. He can lead this team. He was great tonight.
He was great tonight. Yes.
Against a good defense.
Yes. Tonight.
Right, but
yes.
I'm just saying that's what it is to be a quarterback in this league. You struggle, you get better,
Yes.
like you learn. Like
I understand.
he's getting better.
But here's the problem with Daniel Jones. Okay. He does the same mistakes over and over and over. And no, for the millionth time, not tonight. He had a great game tonight. Okay,
Well,
great.
we'll see going forward. Maybe this season's a breakout year for him.
Maybe it is. I hope to God it is. But you know what? From what I've seen and past performances, I can't. No, I'm not believing it till it happens.
Would you at least give him that he's been at least handicapped for his first two seasons? You know, like
Yeah, but I was
hasn't
also
even-
defending Eli Manning for the last 3 years of his career because that offensive line was a walk-through fence.
Well, I will say I will say this. Daniel Jones has not had any play. The Giants have not put a good enough offensive line to protect him. If you look at right now Justin Herbert and you look at the offensive line that they have built, they added one of the best centers in a league from the Green Bay Packers. Okay, they added arguably one of the best offensive linemen in this past draft, who is probably going to be one of the guys that could win Rookie of the Year. And they have a good running game. They have good wide receivers. They have two legitimate wide receivers. Let's go look at what Danny Dimes is throwing to. Oh, I'm sorry. Not one of those guys.
Whose job is that?
What are you talking about?
Whose job is to put a team on the field?
That's fine.
Well, this will be a
So
big
how's he done a
offseason
good
for
job,
Gettleman.
Errol?
What's up, Jeff?
This will be a big offseason for Gettleman, right? Because this offseason will be about clearing off bad contracts like the Nate Solder contract and getting guys in there that can play offensive line. Imagine if he had a halfway decent offensive line, like anybody that could block. Think about how much better it would be.
Yeah, because he's a great runner. He's a lot better on his feet when he gets out of the pocket than people give him credit for. I think he's one of the best running, when he sees the field, running and ready to throw and fake and go right into the lane. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks doing that in the league. He's very, and by the way, he's a lot faster than he looks. Because I actually
super underrated speed, bro.
Yes.
Like that run that he tripped and fell, everyone's like, that's what, hold on, right, Speedy's laughing because that's what people remember. You know what people don't remember? He ran by 4 defensive backs. That's
the
speed,
fastest
dude.
one clocked in the NFL that year by a quarterback.
Right. He's got it, man. He does. He just needs people not to tear him. He needs not mouth-breathing New Yorkers trying to run him out of town. Give the kid a shot.
I think he's good. I like him. I've always liked him since the Giants drafted him. I think he's got all the arm strength. No, he's not going to. It doesn't have Eli Manning arm strength where he can throw the ball 75 yards. He doesn't have that arm strength, but he's accurate. He's just as accurate as Eli Manning is. He is. He can make every single throw of what everybody has said.
He doesn't have the arm strength, but he just easily whipped it 60 yards downfield to a guy. You know who Slayton is? Do you remember the movie Necessary Roughness? He's Stonehands.
I remember Necessary Roughness. I love that movie. Love that movie.
So we got Stonehands to go with Jets Robbie Anderson pot hands.
Hey, I gotta ask because I was waiting the whole game to see it. I hadn't watched the Giants game this year. Where the good goddamn is Kadarius Toney? Someone explain this to me.
The Giants, for some reason, their wide receivers completely disappear. And they do this all the time. They did this with Sterling Shepard.
They even put Kadarius Toney in the game, though.
He had a rough
receiver on the other side.
He had a rough time in the preseason and also learning the playbook too, from what I've heard.
You draft a second round,
get a lot of snaps.
A wide receiver, you play him and you make him play. Just like what the Jets are doing to Mims. It's pathetic. Okay. I have attacked the Jets.
His name is the human joystick. Throw a screen pass and let him run.
You drafted a wide receiver in the first round. You should be using him in your offense. The fact that they don't do it, it doesn't make any sense. No, they rather throw the ball to Slayton, who, by the way, was a 6th or 7th round draft pick. And Toney is a much better all-around player than your Slayton kid. Okay, so I do take shots at Slayton. No, I take shots at Slayton because I think Giant fans make him out to be Odell Beckham. I remember one of my friends who's a huge Giant fan. He says, "Yo, we got Slayton. He's just as good or even better than Odell Beckham." I said, "What do you want, drugs? What do you want, drugs?" I mean,
not for nothing too. Giants still shorthanded tonight. No Evan Engram.
Oh, good. We didn't need him dropping 3 passes.
You want to talk? I call his
talk
hands
about
rock
stone
hands.
hands. Talk about
call
stone
rock
hands.
hands.
Oh,
That guy can't catch anything either, man. I mean, they got players that can't close. Close. If you look at the Giants,
Evan Engram's just fast. His hands should be better for a tight end, and they're not. And he's an awful blocker.
They just don't close. That's the problem with the Giants. Same thing with the Jets over the last couple of years. They're in position to win, and they don't close. They drop the ball in terrible situations, or they fumble the ball in terrible situations, which costs them the game. And that has nothing to do with coaching. That has something to do with the players. It has nothing to do with it. Now, at the play calling, and I said this when we were watching the game, you have 11 seconds. It's 2 minutes and 11 seconds in the fourth quarter, and you have the ball, and it's 1st and 10. Why the hell are you not trying to get a first down and try to end the game? You will end the game if you get the first down before the 2-minute mark. Instead, you run the ball 3 times, you kick the field goal, and you give them a chance to win the game. It made no sense. That's Joe Judge. That's his play calling.
Well, it's not like they weren't trying to get the first down, trying to win the game.
He's going to get the blame for it. He is the coach of the team. Rex Ryan, all those years.
You know who else deserves blame for that, honestly? Because, dude, I knew they were running. You knew they were running. Everyone knew they were running. It's the offensive line's fault. They can't get any push. Zero push.
That's true, too. Their offensive line has been horrible. Okay? And the fact
comes down, like, for winning teams, there just comes a time where everyone's going to know what the players that you're going to call, and you need to execute it better than they can defend it. And that starts with the offensive line.
And the Giants had a chance to win this game. They should have won this game. I really believe they should have won this game. I picked Washington to win this game. I think you picked the Giants.
Washington.
You picked Washington?
I picked Washington.
Really?
Yeah.
The Beef picked the Giants to win the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I had the over.
You had the over?
Good job, Jeff. You had the over.
Oh, that's
yes.
Good. Wow. So you hit on this. Did you win
today?
today?
I hit on the over, but I only ended up $50 because I bet $100. I bet $100 on the first touchdown of the game to be Kyle Rudolph. which
that's bold.
Dude, it was totally set up for it. And if Daniel Jones was in a selfish prick that had to run it in, he had Kyle Rudolph wide open.
He should have had
Daniel zero.
And Daniel Jones should have 2 running touchdowns. He got robbed.
Daniel Jones gives 0 fucks about my mortgage.
Well, I will say this: Daniel Jones should have had 2 running touchdowns. That should have been a touchdown.
Yeah,
that should have been a touchdown. That was a great run, by the way. It was
a great run.
It was, but nobody will know. No, all you'll hear in New York sports tomorrow is, well,
Daniel Jones can't win.
He can't win. He can't do this.
There it is. They're showing it now if it's still on.
There it is.
He ran it's a 60-yard touchdown run. The worst hold on the planet. He runs by all defensive backs. Fast as hell right there. Watch this. They're going to show this. This is not a hold.
No, he's using his hands. Actually, Washington was holding him. Whoever was the corner there,
William Jackson.
Yeah, he was holding board.
Where's the beef when you need him to blame the refs?
That was a wonderful throw too.
That's another wonderful throw. The Slayton one's coming. This is going to be great. Let's see if there's a single defender within 30 yards of him. Here it comes right here.
Let's go.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was. He was within 20.
Oh, within 22 yards. 22 yards.
He should have caught that.
Oh, my God, yeah.
He should have caught that. You want to talk about pot hands. I mean, come on.
And he got hit, too, from what it looks like.
Yeah, that is exactly the scene out of Necessary Roughness. That's exactly the scene.
He should have caught that. That was a good throw.
I didn't realize he was hit, too. That makes it even better.
Yeah, good throw.
And I want to say something about Heineke. Heineke had a good game. He played very well.
Yes, he did.
And I want to see more of this kid. He should start, even when Fitzpatrick comes back. I've been hearing Cam Newton. Cam Newton should not.
No, they're not going to sign Cam Newton.
What was better, the Heineke throw or the Ricky Seals-Jones catch?
Ooh.
Ricky Seals catch.
I would say the catch, too, just because that is a tight window. That is a tight window, but it's still, you have to make that in practically what was double coverage and that close to the sideline to come down with it the whole way. Because we see him like come down with it and then they roll out at the end.
By the way.
Mm-hmm.
That was
pretty great throw, though. Pretty great throw.
That was a great interception.
It was a great throw, though. It's a back shoulder like that, right over Adoree Jackson is a good corner. Yeah.
That was it. That finally.
I mean, you saw some quality football tonight. At times there was good defense played. At times there was really good offensive plays going on. This was a quality football game.
This was,
and
I
didn't think we were gonna see one tonight. I thought the Giants were playing egg. Didn't happen.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be more of a sloppy game too. A lot of Thursday night games are.
And you know what it is it's. And remember, the Giants still have the Chicago Bears first-round draft pick. Yeah. If the Bears don't have a good season, you're talking about if the Giants don't get out of the top 10, they're going to have 2 top 10 picks. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So they're going to position themselves in a very good position to get themselves 2 really good players. But I still think the Giants, there's a lot of football left, and they're
it's not going to matter anyways. Anyone in the first round is still going to be a good player.
No, you're right. But I think the
do you remember going back to last year's draft and everyone going, "Oh my God, I love Azeez Ojulari." Dude, he was picked 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No,
so you're going to get a good player regardless.
No, I'm not saying, but if you get a top 10 pick, you're going to get yourself arguably a game-changing player at that position. You know, so it's a possibility. But I think
they need to be doing is drafting the fattest pigs possible to wear a quadruple XL jersey and play offensive line.
Well, and this is not an offensive line draft, which really puts the Giants in a situation.
Okay.
That's what they say. They say it's a defensive line draft and corner draft. This is more of a defensive draft than an offensive draft that we've seen in the last 2 years. That's what they're saying.
Good grief.
That's what they're saying. So
good grief.
Well, why you say good grief?
Dude, there's so many good players you can take all through this in so many positions. It's ridiculous.
Okay, but they're.
I'll tell you, the only position that's really weak is quarterback.
And you know, when they say that, the quarterbacks are really good in draft.
I'm telling you, not this one.
Well, I hate one of them. So.
Yes, we know.
I don't like one of them who plays for Oklahoma. So everybody knows what I think of him. So I wherever he goes, I hope he falls and cracks his head. I'm not injured. I just hope he doesn't succeed because I don't like the kid. I think he's a stubborn, stuck-up SOB. And
even if you don't like him, there's other guys you could take at quarterback.
Of course.
But I still don't think any of them are really all that good.
You like the Cincinnati quarterback.
Yeah, I like Desmond Ridder as like a college player, but he's a lot like, honestly, his best comparison might be Lamar Jackson. He's very much a runner and that kind of thing. Like all the passers in this draft, Tyler Show, Keaton Slovis, Sam Howell, guys like that.
I'm curious on Show because I didn't realize he actually transferred this year to Texas Tech. So he might.
Yeah, he was at Oregon last year.
I know. I liked him a lot at Oregon last year. I'm surprised. Well, obviously the transfer rules now. It's not nothing surprising. But
Tyler, who do you root for college football?
I can't stand college football.
You don't watch college football?
Not at all.
Really? I think college football. I've gotten more into college football more since I've met. I started talking to Jeff. I'm a Florida State fan, but Florida State hasn't been good for a very long time. The last time they won was Jameis Winston. I hated Jameis Winston. I never liked him. And I grew up a huge Florida State fan. But I watch college football more now than I ever did because I talked to Jeff and Speedy and some of the knowledge. And you really get to know some of these players before they even get into the NFL.
I hated the NCAA. I thought they were bogus.
Not to mention, we're going to end up starting to watch some of our recruits that we interviewed.
That's true too. But is there any particular team that you rooted for in college football? Is there any team that you root for?
I mean, I love Nick Saban.
So you're an Alabama fan?
No, I don't. I'm not a fan of Alabama, but I guess if that's the terminology you want to use, yes, I'm a Bama fan.
Jeff, who's your favorite team in college football?
Anybody who beats Florida.
So no, but do you root for a particular team?
No, I don't have a team I root for. There's teams I actively root against because of my history. Like I can't stand Nick Saban. He hates me.
I don't like Nick Saban either.
He's kicked me off campus no less than 4 or 5 times.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Oh yeah. He hates me.
He hates me. A 6'3" bulldozing of a man. He hates me.
He does. He hates me.
I'm surprised he hasn't asked you to play offensive line for him.
Yeah. I have 4 years of eligibility, but
don't worry, Jeff. You could transfer right away now.
Yeah, I mean, there's just certain people that I just don't like. There's nothing really to like about. For me, the Gators like the Cowboys. Don't necessarily hate the players or the coach or the school or anything. Their fans insufferable.
I've always considered the parallel with the Cowboys for college football to be Notre Dame fans because they always think it's their year.
Oh, dude, they're horrible. Too.
Oh yeah,
they're just as bad because they also think they're superior.
Right, but it's the same analogy. Like a national team with a rich history, they're so popular all the time, and yet they always underwhelm. They're literally the parallels of each other.
And what's going on with Ben Simmons, by the way? Is he ever getting traded? Are we ever actually going to see that? Basketball preseason starts in about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Be traded.
What do you mean he's not going to be traded? They've been talking. How many rumors have we heard that he's gone? He's not. He's never going to.
For 2 years now straight.
They said They said that there's no way he's going to be playing for the 76ers by season starts. What's going on with that? I mean, why
did his agent publicly say they were demanding a trade?
They're not going to get the package.
Nah, but I'm saying, why hasn't he been traded yet?
Because they want too much. Do you know what they want from the Warriors for?
I saw what
you can go scratch. Ben Simmons.
Did you hear the Pelicans?
You can ask for anything in the world, but if a player is that unhappy,
the Pelicans going to be the team to pull the trigger.
They're going to trade Brandon Ingram for him. That's what I heard.
Well, I'm sure 76ers fans would love to hear that. A guy that will actually shoot the ball.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I mean, you can ask for whatever you want, but the guy is publicly demanded a trade, said he doesn't want to be there, wants the team to work things out. And at the end of the day, you lose leverage like that. So they can ask for whatever they want, but they're not being realistic and they're only making the situation more difficult.
Would you trade Brandon Ingram for Ben Simmons?
No.
Who's better?
Dude, it doesn't matter who's better or whatever. I'm not trading a guy that can shoot for a guy. It's a shooter's league. I'm not trading for a guy that can't shoot.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
So why
I'm
is
not blowing up my whole organization to take on a max contract for a guy that can only play inside the paint that isn't 7 feet tall?
I'm reading it. Everybody loves it. Why do all these experts love Ben Simmons? And we talk about him all the time that he can't shoot. And now they're talking about Brandon Ingram, who averaged 23 points a game last year with the Pelicans, played very well. And now they're talking about they're possibly trading Ben Simmons for Brandon Ingram. Heads up for both of those guys. I think that the 76ers are winning in that trade.
No. I mean,
Bill, they definitely would be.
Lonzo Ball and Ben Simmons will be the worst shooting back. Well, now Lonzo Ball is gone. So, yeah, I guess it works.
I mean, seriously.
Ingram had a pretty good year, and he was the second best player on that team. He'd have an even better year being the third best player on the 76ers.
Oh, my God. The 76ers are licking their lips if this happens.
Right.
If they can.
Right, but they're asking for too much because they were asking for like 4 first-round draft picks and then some other players and stuff. And that's never going to happen.
As of right now, what I've read here in this article, the Sixers are asking, heads up, Brandon Ingram and Kira Lewis.
I remember him. He was Alabama basketball.
For Simmons. Yeah. So Simmons in exchange for Brandon Ingram and Kira Lewis.
Right, and how many draft picks?
Nothing. That's it. That's it.
But they're going to pay the contract.
Yeah, but that's it. That's what I'm reading over here. That's what I'm reading over here. Ingram would have a very interesting pickup. Philadelphia, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting percentage 46%, and also 38% at the 3-point line for a big man. Something that we know Ben Simmons doesn't shoot more than 12%.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it doesn't make any sense. I think, obviously, the team that's getting the advantage on this is Philadelphia. Why wouldn't Philadelphia make this move? And
who should do
and
this?
if you look back what the Lakers have done, the Lakers giving up all the young talent that they have over the last couple of years. Just think, Brandon Ingram was turned into a sensational player.
Oh, yeah, they lost the trade.
I didn't say they lost the trade.
No, the Lakers lost the trade.
They did not lose the trade.
I don't know.
They got one player back. They gave up 2.
Yeah, Anthony Davis was a top 10 player in the NBA.
Top 5. Okay. Anthony Davis is top 5.
Well,
I mean, think about how different the NBA playoffs would have been last year. Think about how different the NBA playoffs would have been last year if Ben Simmons could have made a free throw.
He was the reason why the 76ers couldn't move further.
I mean, you're laughing, and that's the truth, though, right?
Oh,
There's
he
a
was
clear
terrible.
team that should pull the trigger on this.
Who?
The Houston Rockets.
Why?
Denver.
You can move on from John Wall. You can get Ben Simmons back and start a rebuild. Put shooters on the outside.
Hold on. So I know you like Denver, but who are you going to give up for Ben Simmons, Jeff?
Bull, and Michael Porter. They got Aaron Gordon. They just signed Aaron Gordon to an extension. He's going to eat up all the minutes that Porter would have been taking.
That's true too. That's actually really. I was thinking of it. I was thinking about what you said a couple of weeks ago, and maybe Denver would fit the best for Ben Simmons.
Ben says Timberwolves discussing acquiring Simmons as of this morning.
Yeah, without Karl Anthony Towns and without Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell's going to go back to Philly.
Yeah, I think that was the main centerpiece for what I saw at least a couple of weeks ago. Him, Jarrett Culver, I think it was 3 first-round picks. There was somebody else.
So do you think they're a playoff team with Ben Simmons, Karl Anthony Towns, and Edwards? They're good young.
They'd be better.
It's a pretty good team.
Yeah. They'd be borderline.
They have no depth.
Yeah, that's the problem. And
I mean, the bigger question was, will that addition make Karl Anthony Towns happy?
Yeah, that's true too.
I don't know. Karl Anthony Towns doesn't like playing with anybody.
Exactly. So that it's worrisome as it is with the situation they're in.
But isn't that what it's all about? Trying to make him happy, so he resigns in Minnesota. So you don't, like, there's no point in making this trade and blowing up your organization and sending.
Right. When is he a free agent? When he's a free agent? Didn't he just sign an extension?
Towns just signed an extension.
I think he signed an extension 2 years ago, so I think he's 3 years left on that contract.
Right. I think he wanted out the second year of it, and last offseason was the main buzz with him, and it kind of died out. So I don't know what's going to happen now. I still think it could.
I still think he's going to get traded.
I still think it could happen. So
I still think, and I could still see because the Boston Celtics are a team that would love Karl Anthony Towns. I know that. I know the Knicks have a connection with Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh,
even
with Kentucky, yeah, of
yeah.
course.
So I see that, but I could see Boston. They have a significant.
That'll never happen.
You don't think so?
No.
Really?
They're gonna have their third max contract next offseason when they get Bradley Beal.
Ah.
You still think Bradley Beal's going to be the guy?
He's 100% opting out of his contract and going to Boston.
Really?
Without a doubt.
You're going to bank on that?
Too good of friends with Jason Tatum. They were both loving on each other when they were playing Team USA this last year. And any reason to get, and they have the space for the max contract. Most other people don't.
Ben says, breaking news, Jets announced signing.
I saw that already.
Singing, he spelled it up, of Spencer Rattler.
And he fixed it up, signing Spencer
and hates Notre Dame. Yes, I think a lot of people outside of Notre Dame.
I don't think anybody likes Notre Dame. That's not a Notre Dame
Right.
fan.
Exactly.
No one should like Notre Dame or Oklahoma. They both ruin the college football playoff every year.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that?
Oh, great. We're in the top 4. Let's lose by 46.
Yeah, true.
Oh, my God. And how many teams make it to the college playoffs this year?
I think it's still four this year.
Yeah, just 4.
It's the expansion's coming with the conferences.
So I was hearing that they were going to move it to 6 or 8, possibly.
Yeah, 8. We've heard 8 and 12 teams so far, but it's only going to be probably 2 years away.
Who do you have in your Final Four?
Who do I have?
Yeah.
I have Alabama. I have Georgia. I was thinking Ohio State, but they haven't looked good defensively.
I had them at the start of the season too. I
They
also
haven't
did
looked
have
good
Oregon though at
defensively.
the start of the season too. So they were my 4th.
I have Oregon, and I guess you could say,
Oregon's going to get stuffed in a locker.
and Clemson.
Yeah, they'll probably lose one weird game.
And then Clemson.
Now that they're all higher hyped, they'll probably lose a weird game like the Pac-12 likes to do all the time. But I did have them as my 4th team because I didn't really see anyone else obvious. Maybe Cincinnati if somebody sneaks in from the
I know
Dude, Cincinnati's getting it.
That was the other one. That was the other one I had right on that
Jeff
cusp.
loves the Cincinnati team.
They've been a rising program for a while.
Dude, they're a super sleeper. They got Luke Fickell coaching that team.
Luke
They're a
Fickell.
super sleeper.
That's a great name, Luke Fickell.
He's a very good coach, though.
I
Very
like
good
the name.
coach.
I just like the name.
I'll take Alabama, Georgia, Cincinnati, and UCLA for the win.
UCLA. I forgot about UCLA.
Errol and I will root that on forever because of Devin.
Devin Kirkwood, Mr. Kirkwood, who actually was on the field twice.
I saw him a good amount in their second game.
Yeah.
He actually against LSU. I think he only played like 5 or 6 snaps, but he actually played a lot more of their second game.
Well, good.
I think they're the biggest reason why USC is going to have trouble finding a coach.
Oh yeah, that's going to be quite a carousel.
There's a bunch of people already been named: James Franklin, Eric Bieniemy, Urban Meyer, all these dudes. No one wants that job because Chip Kelly finally has UCLA rolling. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Who wants to take a Big Ten job when Urban Meyer was in Ohio State? Nobody.
Right.
You know, like no one. Who wants to go to the SEC? Well, maybe for the money, that's fine. But all your like the perfect example is Gus Malzahn leaving Auburn.
Yep.
Who wants that Auburn job? Who wants it? Nobody. It looks like a much worse job when there's a dude right across town or across the state in that case doing better.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right. So all of the like if you go and like look, the last time the UCLA was good was when they had like Rick Neuheisel coaching that team, years ago, right? And then when USC was really good, UCLA was irrelevant. Now UCLA is putting things together. USC is terrible place to go.
I forgot about UCLA. I'll bring UCLA in that too. I take. You know what? I'll take Oregon out. I'll put UCLA in. I like UCLA too.
My biggest omission is Clemson, and I realize
I had them out too at the start of the season.
Yeah, I just think they're going to end up losing another game somewhere along the line.
They're due. After all the close calls they always have, like once a year with a random ACC team, I think they're due to lose one. Like North Carolina was close, Syracuse was close a couple times. I think they're due at some point.
The team that I picked to upset them, might go down in flames because Phil Yurkovich just broke his hand. But Boston College, another team that's coming on and almost beat Clemson last year.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. See, they always have one random game. Usually it's Syracuse, but again, it's always one random game that they play down to and almost.
But
lose.
I don't care. I'll leave Clemson out, even though, like I just hate Dabo Swinney and this loving him. Jesus, get out of here. No one cares.
How do you not like Dabo Swinney?
Dude, because he's insufferable.
Yeah, so is Nick Saban. I mean, winners are insufferable.
No, you want to know? Here's the difference. And listen, Nick Saban hates me, so I have no right saying this, right? And I do root against him. But here's the thing. Dabo Swinney thinks he's like better than you, and you should just be in your place. Nick Saban at least lets people do their thing and like whatever. Like Nick Saban's a lot cooler than you think he is.
We all know the two most likable coaches are Mike Leach and Ed Orgeron.
Yeah, I mean, yo, dude, for sure, dude. Get Ed Orgeron's voice as Siri. Perfect. Right? Like at least Saban's a human being. Like Dabo Swinney just wants to keep kids in the garbage can and not care about them. Dabo Swinney fought as hard as he could not to have this NIL thing go through. Because he doesn't want kids.
Right.
He doesn't want kids to have
That's
power.
right. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That's right. No, he was. He was a huge advocate against it.
Right, because he doesn't want kids to have a choice.
I know Saban. Right? I know Saban didn't want the money to go to these players either. Saban was upset when the NCAA accepted that, where players can actually make money off their name.
Right, but look at how much better college football is now that kids can like transfer and do things. Right, Zach Charbonnet on Michigan last year. Jim Harbaugh's like, I don't like you. He's like, yeah, I'm going to UCLA. Now I'm running for $1 trillion.
Lighting it up.
Right, lighting it up, right? But he doesn't, like Swinney doesn't want these kids to have options. He wants to have all of the control. He's a dick.
Ben says expands to 6 teams in a few years, maybe 8. Wisconsin versus Notre Dame in primetime coming up. New quarterback versus old quarterback. Yeah, that should be interesting. But Notre Dame, they love to lose primetime games. So,
like again, Oregon going in and upsetting Ohio State. Anthony Brown. He's a BC transfer.
Right.
Right? Like, these kids have options now. Like Jeff Hafley at Boston College was like, no, I'm going with Phil Yurkovich. And Anthony Brown was like, great, I'll go to another program.
It happens so often, I didn't even realize Show transferred.
How many starting quarterbacks that actually are in the NFL starting for an NFL team that played for Alabama? I think it's the most we've ever seen in a very long time.
Well, right now, I think there's just 3, right?
Jalen Hurts, right?
Jalen Hurts.
Well, Mac Jones, and Tua.
There's no other guys that ever played for Alabama in college.
Not that are starting.
Starters.
I mean, AJ
McCarron, yes.
McCarron, he's the 3rd string in Buffalo.
Yeah. I'm just trying to.
He tore his ACL. I think he's out for the year.
I'm trying to see if there's any other player or any other quarterback that played for Alabama.
No, because they mainly had basic quarterbacks before that. Nothing that was anything special.
So they honestly, besides Oklahoma, Alabama has the most quarterbacks. Right? Actually, they do. Alabama has more college quarterbacks that are starting quarterbacks in the NFL than any college team in football.
Currently, yes, but 2 of them are going to lose their jobs.
Who's that?
Well, for sure, Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Sure.
Mac Jones isn't.
Tua probably.
You think Tua's going to lose his job?
Dude, either Philly or Miami is going to get their hands on Deshaun Watson or something, right?
Well, Deshaun Watson's going somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be Miami.
Well, he's probably going to one of those 2 if all the Aaron Rodgers to Denver things are real.
How about
right?
the Broncos? How about
didn't I just say that? If the Aaron Rodgers to Denver thing is real,
yeah,
then there's no spot except for those 2 cities. That's where Deshaun Watson's going.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers just signed the extension. So you said that
he can opt out after this year.
He can opt out this year?
I think so. It's a 2-year contract, right? But
he can opt out. He can opt out. There was a clause.
Right. So he could just end up in Denver anyways, or force a trade at the end of the year.
Well, that's what I was. Remember when we were arguing? I said he could opt out of that contract. And you said no, he can't.
I don't know if it's in there or not, but I mean, I would have to imagine he can force a trade after this year.
Yeah,
because
there is no opt out. He condensed his contract. It was 2 years left. So they paid him up front, and it's up after the year.
Oh, so he cannot.
He's a free agent after this year.
Is he? I know
he is not a free agent after this year. It's a 2-year contract
that he shrunk down to 1.
No, it's
still 2. It's still 2.
It's still 2.
They paid him already.
It's still 2.
Explain to me. He's going to play next year for free?
You can go to Spot Track and look it up. It's a 2-year contract. You can go to Adam Schefter's timeline or Michael Rappaport's or Ian Rappaport's timeline, and they posted it. It's 2 years.
I think Jeff, Tyler. I think Jeff did actually say that when I was arguing,
contract.
When I was arguing with him, and then I said I thought there was a trade clause. I mean,
he can for sure force a trade at the end of the year.
Not a trade clause. I'm sorry, an opt-out clause. And me and you were arguing about it.
Go to Spot Track, Speedy.
Speedy, go to Spot Track. Do it faster because you're
it's my computer.
Then use the other computer.
Which other
Spot
computer?
Track. The computer right in front of you.
I have to
Spot Track. Spot Track. Who are we looking up?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers. Contract right here.
So there's a buyout of $26 million.
He's got 2 years left.
Yeah, he's got 2 years left.
Yeah, he's got 2 years left. 2022, he's making $26 million, and
next year he's making 27 or something.
No, 2022 was next year. He's
26.47.
You know how much he's making this year? Which this is why he's angry. $1 million. That's what he's making.
Yeah, 2023, 25 million.
Well, because they paid him up front because he got his total compensation this year was like 27 million or something.
Yeah, it was.
But he took a haircut too, so he could bring in Randall Cobb and some of those other guys.
Yeah, that's right. His cap hit is 27 million.
There you go.
27 is cap hit. Next year his cap hit is 46 million, and the year after that is 33 million. So, and it doesn't say he can opt out. I'm looking at right now if he can opt out of the contract.
See, so it's 2 years.
I don't.
Potential out 2022, 4 year, 126 million, 26 million dead cap, 26.8 million dead cap.
So they're not going to do that, unless they're not going to do that. So he's stuck there.
Unless he forces a trade. So maybe he gets traded to Denver, which is where he wanted to go to.
The only way that
if that were to happen, the only two places for Deshaun Watson are either Philly or Miami.
That would be true. Yes, that would be true.
Or maybe in a pinch, Minnesota.
Ben says, Rodgers should be traded before June 1st, 2022. The Packers will be dealt with $27 million in dead cap, but save just about $19 million against the cap. This allows Rodgers to be traded before the 2022 NFL draft, which is when his market would be hottest. Originally, Rodgers would have been able to be traded after this season with no real cap complications. But if Rodgers wants out, that's really going to hurt the Packers in 2022 with that dead cap number. Upon signing the new deal, Rodgers saves the Packers about $10 million in cap space this year, giving Green Bay some wiggle room before the start of the season. Because of the void year added in Rodgers' deal, after 2022, Rodgers is unable to be franchise tagged by the Packers, meaning he'll be a true free agent after the 2022 season, as long as he plays out both years on his current deal.
Wow.
Right, but it's also not that bad, right? Because basically,
it's interesting.
The Green Bay situation is the New England situation last year, where they kept kicking the can down the road on Tom Brady's restructures, and finally they were like, "Shit, we can't take it anymore." So they had to break up with them, right? Huh. And so last year was the Patriots' dead cap hit. What happened? Oh, that dead cap hit went away, and all of a sudden the Patriots were raining money on everybody.
They did. Yeah. They spent more money this year than any team has in 10 years and in one off season. And that's saying something because we've never seen the Patriots.
That'll happen to the Packers too, because the other thing that you're going to have happen is a new CBA and a new TV deal, which the money's going to go up. And the cap went slightly down this year, and it's going to adjust back up too. So when that dead cap money is gone, which they'll be able to absorb a little more of it because of the adjustment, dude, they are going to make it rain.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers shouldn't be complaining. This year, at the end of the season, in that contract, he's made over $126 million on that deal.
But you're going to be able to trade him to Denver and get back a ton of, draft capital,
absolutely,
draft capital and stuff like that. And then by the time those guys are ready to play, you're going to make it rain on everyone. Dude, that's the best way they can rebuild. The best. Huh. They'll get 2 first-round picks from Denver, plus their own, right? Maybe plus other stuff. And then the following year, they're going to be able to pay any free agent on the planet.
They position themselves really, really well. That's for sure. I mean, but is it going to happen?
It should.
It should, but the Packers are another team that tends to stay more homegrown.
Procrastinate.
At the end of the day, you're going to have to rip off the Band-Aid anyways, right? Like Aaron Rodgers is more towards the end than the beginning, right?
It's true, yeah. I still think he has another 3-4 good years.
Yeah, so did Tom Brady, but it was just time to move on.
Yeah.
You can't allow your team to, and listen, I didn't want Tom Brady to leave, and that is what it is. But at the end of the day, you can't allow your organization to be held hostage by one player.
I would agree, but it's crazy that if you look at Aaron Rodgers, he's still under contract for 2 more years, and if he does, he's not going to opt out because it would be a dead hit for it. So he'd have to be traded, and you're right. I think it works out for both the Green Bay Packers and the Broncos if that happens. It's just crazy.
Right.
It's crazy. And how Aaron Rodgers is controlled really this offseason. And now all of a sudden going into the season, he looked terrible in game number 1. And he's playing a crappy team this week. He should demolish the Lions. I think it'll be close, but he should demolish
And it'll allow the Packers to draft Spencer Rattler so you don't have to deal.
Well, let's hope not, because I don't want to deal watching him play with the Green Bay Packers.
Dude, you got to get over it, man. Some people are just cocky.
I just don't like him.
Great.
Dude, go watch the Quarterback One show, and I guarantee you're not going to like him either.
Yeah, no, I get it. Dude, I dealt with a lot of these kids
I know you
for
did,
forever.
I don't like
is
the
what
kid.
it is.
Yeah, I don't like the kid. Even his parents piss you off.
You cannot like him. He's a good player, man.
That's great. His parents piss me off too. I mean, look at his father, his mother. They walk around like their crap doesn't stink. His father, I don't think his father's ever played in the NFL. His mother walks around like she owns Microsoft. Okay. And
if you live on Long Island, there's a ton of people out there like
that. Yeah, but they actually have something. They don't. Okay. That's a difference.
Yeah, they're sitting with a winning lottery ticket. How many people have a winning lottery ticket?
Yeah, he's a lottery ticket, all right.
Ben says Favre had several good years left, and they got rid of him.
Let him go to the Giants.
Packers will get rid
Giants
of
will love
Rodgers.
him. Giant fans will come back to me and say, we should have kept Daniel Jones. Oh, my God. You are amongst very few Giant fans that don't like Daniel Jones. And there are
Didn't you just say all Giant fans don't like Daniel Jones?
Few Giant fans that I know that don't like Daniel Jones. I know a lot of Giant fans that do like Daniel Jones. So a lot of people think that Daniel Jones was really mistreated as a quarterback so far since he's come into the league. I want to see him get the right players in front of him where he can prove that he's a lot better than you guys think that he is.
This just goes right back to the statement I had made to you, Errol, a couple of weeks ago.
What was that?
New Yorkers just love running people out of town. They just love it.
In certain sports. In basketball, that's not true. That's not true. Because every single person that the Knicks brought here, they didn't want to run Carmelo Anthony out. They didn't.
Phil Jackson did.
Yeah, Phil Jackson's the one.
That's who they wanted to run out. Phil Jackson. Goodbye.
Phil Jackson. You know what I mean? But actually, Phil Jackson ran himself out because Phil Jackson didn't want the job.
Obviously.
He was sleeping at the training camp.
Yeah.
Sleeping at the draft
Yep.
when they were at the combine. I mean, the guy didn't want to be there. They gave him $16 million to do nothing.
Yep.
I mean, seriously, the guy did nothing. So, yeah, in basketball, I don't think the fans try to wrestle and push players out of there. I think in a lot of other sports, hockey, we've seen it.
Well, there's got to be
Hockey,
a
we've seen it.
reason that nobody wants to show up to play for the Knicks. There's got to be a reason.
What, that nobody wants to play for the Knicks? I think
it's that owner.
Well, I don't even think it's that anymore. I really don't.
Well, maybe not now, but
I mean, in free agency,
we'll see long term.
Who was really a free agent this year that was big name?
No, I'm not saying this year. I'm just saying in general in the past.
Tyler, what are you saying?
I said, speaking of naps, don't mind if I take one now.
Well, you do look interesting behind there with the green screen, Tyler. Is that your cowboy outfit?
I don't have a cowboy.
Doesn't that look like a cowboy outfit, ladies and gentlemen?
It's black and silver.
But it's the way the collar looks. It looks like a cowboy outfit, doesn't it?
I don't know what that means.
So I gotta show you pictures. You look like you're wearing a cap. Anyways, Jeff, thank you for calling, bud.
Thanks, man. Always appreciate it. I love watching the Giants. It's great. Laughing all the time.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
Thank you, Jeff.
Oh, it's so great.
Jeff from Tampa, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. We have Tyler dozing off in his cowboy get up over there. Very interesting. I want to thank ex-Raven Falcons All-Pro fullback Ovie Mughelli, who was awesome. It was a great interview.
Fantastic.
Really gave us some good insight of his career and where he is as a player and what he's done really outside of football. So thank you to Ovie. You definitely want to get him on the show again. Oh, by the way, Ben says Tyler is the newest Cowgirls cheerleader. Could you do us a little dance? If we played a song, could you dance for us, Tyler?
What? You throwing dollars or no?
I'll throw you a couple of bucks. You want to do it?
Money on the table.
You know what we'll do? I know what we'll do.
No, I don't
This
wanna
is
do
gonna
it.
be
No,
great.
I'm not doing shit. We're going home.
Next Wednesday, not now. Next Wednesday, I'm gonna give Tyler. I'm gonna bring dollars, and I'm gonna have Tyler at the end of the show do a dance on this show. I think it'll be really, really funny. And every little dance that he does, I'm gonna throw him dollars. It's gonna be funny, guys. Tune in. We're gonna have Tyler do something crazy next week. I think it'll be really, really funny. I'll bring like 50 singles or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, he'll make some money off of this, but it's got to be funny. So we'll do it. I think the fans will love it, and I think it'll be really, really funny.
Yeah, me too.
And Tyler will make himself a couple of bucks.
Shit, $50 will do.
$50 will do. 50 singles, but you got to do. Yeah, you have to put those dollars in different places so people can see.
Oh, they'll see everything.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for all the fans that listen to us every Wednesday and Thursday. Tune in next week, Wednesday and Thursday, for the Sports Loudmouths with me, Speedy Petey, and Tyler Harrison.
Tyler dancing.
Tyler dancing. Yes, you'll be dancing like a cheerleader, that's for sure. Maybe even a stripper.
Oh,
I don't know. I think
I don't know if
Snuggle
we
like
should
it.
go there.
I
but-
think
$50?
snuggling.
Your mom
Snuggle
taught me
enjoy.
a few things.
Ooh.
Oh, God. Oh, no, you lost it.
What?
Now you lost it.
Weren't you there?
Was he there?
I thought you threw a 10 on the floor.
Oh.
No.
That's weird.
Nice try, though.
No, I swear somebody snorted a line and was like, "Hey, Speedy!" I was like, "Oh, where is it?"
Yep. As I mentioned to Errol, you're just probably just fantasizing it somewhere.
There you go.
Maybe. I listen. I'm not saying you're alone. Or maybe there's just another guy named Speedy that I did something I should have done.
Tune in to the Weekend Crunch this Saturday at 7 p.m. If you're not living on Long Island on 103.9 FM, you can go and check us out and listen to us on iHeartRadio, 103.9 FM, LI News Radio on Saturday at 7 p.m. That's it for our show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Ovie. Thank you to all the fans that listen to us. And we'll be back next week. Until then, this is Errol Marks, Speedy Petey, and the great mothball himself, Tyler Harrison. And he will be stripping on Wednesday. So be ready to see the great Ty Whiffy dancing. Good night, everybody.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Saturday, August 28th, add it to your calendar. The Sports Betting Channel presents To Be Determined. Our new show starts at 8 o'clock out here in San Diego, 11 o'clock in New York, and then we're done just in time for the first game kickoffs for college football. You're going to get 4 totally different slices of sports. Blackhawk West joins us for Saturdays in Canada and some plays for the CFL game. What do you do when the easy sports data is trending in opposite directions? Well, Mo's going to help us decide what to do on Something's Gotta Give. There's also Paulo's plays. Now, if you're not betting soccer, you really should be. And this guy is very, very good. Finally, there's Wake and Bake, where sports betting meets marijuana. Hey, the games start early here in Southern California. Now, 9 o'clock's a lot easier when marijuana is legal. It's like having 4 shows in one. Check it out Saturday, August 28th on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network, and on the Sports Betting Channel.